and here we go.
There's the deluge. Here's ignition.
Roger, roll, Atlantic. Doubling up.
Did it just do a Kerbal?
Back to the moon and beyond.
Put that in the big bag, Jingle.
Back at home, we all have a lot of work to do, but from here, it sure looks like a perfect world.
Propulsion continues to be normal.
We did have an observation.
Equalizer.
343 unfolds to go.
It's orange.
Water towers can fly!
Bingo! Right in the center.
Where's Jacqueline? There it is!
That was surreal.
That's not what we want to see.
No!
Oh my god.
Yikes, you bet. We don't need any more of these.
I don't know if there's a word for deja vu multiplied by 5, but whatever that word is, I would like to use it right now, because it's another day, and we've got even more super heavy Booster 19 testing coming up on your screens right now. We're approaching 3 o'clock in the afternoon local time at Starbase. The tank farm is going, the booster is on the pad, still on the pad, it hasn't gone anywhere, thankfully. And we've got even more testing to come following that beautiful 33-engine static fire yesterday, confirmed by SpaceX to be a 33-engine static fire. How awesome is that? My name is Ryan Caton. Thank you for tuning in for another day of... this is literally marathon Starbase testing coverage. We've been doing a stream every day since Sunday. So thank you for tuning in. Alongside me, just like yesterday, first of all, Max Evans. How you doing, Max?
Well, it's Groundhog Day. Again. Yes, we've been going all week. It's been a very action-packed week, but we have been waiting months and months and months for activity like this to pick up. So I'm not going to be complaining one bit, especially on the back of a very successful Artemis 2 mission. April feels like a very special month, and hopefully Booster 19 is going to continue that theme with more testing today.
Also in the commentary for the start of today's stream, maybe the whole thing, depends how long it is, Ryan Webber, thank you for joining us.
You know, that's like two things to say. One of them is once more under the breach, dear friends, right? Like, here we go again.
Wow.
And guess who's back again?
Wow.
Yeah. I felt like I had to say it. I don't know why. I don't know. Hi, everyone. I'm here. Again, day 5. Yeah, let's see what Booster 19 does today. I'm excited, actually.
I mean, that's a great question.
This is the most chippy I've heard a Ryan Webber in, I think, ever.
Is it
Genuinely,
delirium?
I'm not even trying to sound like I'm spitting hyperbole here. I've never heard Ryan this consistently happy and giddy about anything, I think, as long as I've known him.
Like, I get to watch a tank farm again and again and again and learn about it and learn the timings. I get to watch a booster test on a pad that I've been watching get built for the last 23 months. I get to watch the booster itself, who we've heard about for almost, a year and a half now. An engine we've heard about for a year and a half now. All these different components have been tested again and again and again in this last week. Literally, not only with the booster, but with the ship as well. We got a 60-engine ship static fire. We got a 33-engine static fire yesterday. Yeah, it might be the most giddy I've been since maybe like a flight test, since some of the flight tests. And I think we're all a little bit delirious because it's been so long since we've gotten any of this. It was October 13th, the last time they flew out of Starbase. It's getting up there. In a little under a month, once they get past May 13th, will have been, I think, longer. I think it's a longer amount of time between flights than between flights 1 and 2, between flights 11 and 12. So, you know, I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do today. They could do more engine testing. They could do just a tanking test. They could do any number of things. We'll just have to wait and find out.
As we start things off here, we have loads of people in chat saying that they're coming over from Starbase Live. They're just listening into our bi-weekly? Is that the word? Our Tuesday
Yes.
and Thursday Raptor side, where some of the Starbase Live team get together and have a hour chat or so on the events happening at Starbase. And, well, as we always do, we spool up some dedicated coverage when there's some interesting stuff to look at. I'm sure Ryan Webber would argue there's always interesting stuff to look at, but for the testing side of things, at least, we've got some tank farm activity actually ongoing to show you all, which is always wonderful when we can show you something. Kicking things off, we have got a lot of questions because yesterday there was the 33 engine static fire, only lasted for a few seconds. Before that, we had the igniter test, and before that, we had the spin prime, and before all of that, we had the tanking tests back in March. So it feels like the booster testing has been ramping up and ramping up and ramping up. Everyone in chat wants to know, Ryan Webber, are we going to see a long duration 33 engine static fire today? Do you think they will ramp up the testing even more than they have already?
I mean, they did post about it, which kind of says that they were happy with it. But you never know. With it being a new pad, new vehicle, new engines, they could always do another test. I wouldn't put it past them. All we have right now is the closure for today, so they could do that today. Or if there's nothing stopping them from putting out more. I'll just put it that way. But we could see a longer duration today. We could see a 15, 20-second static fire today. We could see something else. The only indications that we will have on what they're going to do today could be like if they're going to load more methane, say they want to load more methane into the vehicle, they may have to move the roadblock would move away more akin to like a launch day kind of thing if they were going to do something like that, or not exactly launch day, but at least further away than where they're at, because the more methane you put in a vehicle, the more explosive potential you have, so you kind of want to keep people a little bit farther away. And the other indication, if they were to do something along those lines, would be during prop load, the methane frost would appear much quicker and much earlier in the prop load sequence than it has in the past. In the past, seven tests at this rate, 8 tests. I don't even know at this point, but yeah, that's kind of what we have to watch out for. But until either one of those things happen, we can really only speculate on what they're going to do today.
Yeah, some people in chat have been speculating while you've been answering. As we can see in that left-hand picture, the road block is up on Highway 4, so no traffic to or from the launch pad or air separation unit or beach or anything else that you can access along Highway 4, including the camera site that this camera is placed on. But in chat, we have Yoz got a tube. They say, I think we're going to do a wet dress rehearsal right now, and we'll see the ship quick disconnect fire up. I mean, I'm not sure if the ship quick disconnect is going to... I hope the ship quick disconnect doesn't start loading propellant, because there's no ship for the propellant to go onto. So
they could chill it down, is what they could do. We could definitely, I mean, heck, if they really wanted to, they can flow methane and liquid oxygen up to the SQD arm, and we could see that tower vent activate. I mean, they could totally do that. There is no ship there, but it would still be practice for chilling down the tower. I have not seen any evidence of that. The only methane subcoolers I've seen chilling down are the booster ones. But then again, they could try to chill down the ship side too. All of it's hooked up. I think the only place that it's not hooked up are, I think, the primary lines that go from the actual main QD to kind of the shoulder of the SQD. But other than that, they could, in theory, chill down the tower. I think it would look cool if they did. That it would be only like the second or third time they've done it. So,
I mean, I think it just in terms of the testing milestones that they've been able to do so far, the one thing that they haven't done is fill the booster all the way up. Like, we haven't seen that yet. They've only filled it up to static fire levels at pad 2. I mean, of course, it got fully frosty over at Massey's, but they weren't using methane. They were using oh god, I can never say it without stuttering. Nitrogen. They were using that in ox because N2 is inert. Like, if the worst was to happen, N2 is not going to combust. So, but again, as we've seen so far, the one thing they haven't done, well, I guess 2 things: a long duration static fire, and they also have not filled the booster all the way up. So, you might see that today. We might see a combination of the two. Although static firing a booster with completely full with completely full prop tank seems like a very dangerous idea if the worst was to happen.
Feels like a YOLO situation if they did that.
Kind of, yeah. That feels like well, it isn't Fifi because you're not flying, but YOLO is probably the best way to put it, Ryan. But yeah, but again, we have no way of knowing what they're doing today other than, hey, the road's closed, the beach closed, the tank farm is alive, and everyone is getting ready for the booster to be dangerous to be around again. So, gonna see what happens.
And as always, for these Starbase streams, the question queue is already flooding with questions. Like, quite literally, it is already going off the screen. So do keep them coming. I didn't even have to say tag us in chat at NASASpaceflight or at NSF. You guys already know what to do, and that's awesome to see. But yeah, we have so many questions coming in. I'm just gonna make things easy and just go from the top of the queue to the bottom of the queue, and hopefully we can get through all of these. But Jojo, sorry if I pronounced that incorrectly, but they are asking, why did they only do one static fire with ship 39? Ryan, I'm going to toss that one over to you.
I mean, maybe they don't need to do the single engine this time around, and they're just going to do it in space and not on the ground. I don't know. Maybe they just don't think they need to do it, and they're not going to do it going forward, and they're just going to do their 60-second or so 6-engine static fires for ship from now on. Maybe they'll knock it back down to maybe 30 seconds or something in the future. But I think Block 3 is going to be the one where you're going to want to just do one static fire, be done with it. Oh, the ship is good to go. Okay, let's go. Basically, like 6 engines and send it. And it's kind of what it seems like they're doing. They rolled it back to Mega Bay 2 for final preps. Booster will be just behind it. It's kind of funny, actually. It's been a while since we've had a ship completed static fire testing before booster.
Yeah.
And you have to go all the way back to the Block 1 days before that happened. None of the Block 2 ships, all of those were far behind their boosters when it came to that, because like if you'd have to go back to, I think it's like ship 31 completed its 6-engine static fire on September 18th, and the booster it flew on, which was booster 13, completed its static fire on October 24th, so like almost a month later. And granted, they're not that far apart here. They're almost like they're literally within days. Almost within hours, basically.
Didn't that also happen like 2 weeks after Flight 5?
The Booster 13 static
Yeah,
fire?
Booster 13 static fire. I think I remember that one. I think that happened
Flight 5 was
Flight 5.
October. Flight 5 was October 13th, and the static fire was October 24th. So it was
That's
11
insane.
days. It was 11
That's
days
actually insane. And then
For
that
that
was
pad-
on pad 1, mind you. Yeah.
For that pad, yeah. You remember that thing launched November 19th. So that was was one of their quick turnarounds also between 10 and 11. Once they actually get vehicles and they're going, I cannot wait to see that turnaround time shrink on this pad, because they should be able to do it without they should be able to shrink the timeline pretty quickly here.
Speaking of the booster testing, I did have a segue, but then the answer kept on going. But don't worry, we want long answers. But Astro Playground 1546 is asking, do you think yesterday's static fire and today's testing is more about testing the pad than testing the booster? Max, what do you think?
I mean, I guess kind of circling back to the point that I had made just a few minutes ago, in that one of the things that we haven't seen is the booster filled all the way up on both tanks for both methane and oxygen. So in that regard, if that is what they want to do today, that would be a test of both the vehicle and the ground systems alike, because they would need to supply a bit of a higher flow rate for methane if they want to meet the same amount of, or meet the same timeline for prop load time that they would during a launch operation. So that would both be a test to see how well the booster can receive methane at that rate, and also how long or how well the tank farm can perform with that much higher flow rate sustained. So it would be a test on both fronts on that front if that's what they're doing today. So it very much well could be. But again, we don't really have any way of knowing because, as far as we can tell today, everything is looking identical to everything we have seen over the past 4 days and also
Well-
before. So, go ahead.
I will say one thing: the lift is not up. So if that was meant to
True.
test measuring equipment, I just noticed
True.
that the lift that's out in the area there that they were using probably as measuring equipment for what's coming out of the trench is not up today. So
That is true.
take that as you will on what that means. I'll just say that. But as for wet dress rehearsals, it's more about the pad than it is the vehicle, because you need to know that you can supply the flow rate and everything works as needed to actually do a launch countdown. That's the main reason for a wet dress rehearsal. It also helps with the vehicle too, especially like when SLS does one, because, well, when they did their first wet dress rehearsal on Artemis 2, they had never tanked that core stage before. It didn't go through a green run. So that was kind of both at the same time. But in this kind of case, it'd be more about the tank farm than it is the booster. Because they know the booster can take the propellant and everything like that. That's not really the question in thing. The question in hand is, can the tank farm work exactly as they want it to and tank the booster as quick as they want it to on a launch day and go through the count and make sure all valves, everything that's needed for on launch day works the way it needs to, basically.
Let's have a look through here. We are seeing the tank farm still puffing away as it does. Ryan, just for those of our audience who might be tuning in for the first time for Starbase testing, again, might be watching the live for the first time for version 3 testing.
Hello?
That is, the law enforcement has left that roadblock.
And there's literally nobody else there.
Very interesting.
Uh-huh.
Now, if I wonder where they moved it. They might have moved it up to like just what is it? The San Martin is where they might have moved it to.
Is that right in front of where the east side of Star Factory is, where the office building is, launch control?
Yeah, that would be like right. Yeah, it'd be right in front of the office building.
Got it.
Would be
Okay.
San Martin, because it splits the village and the Star Factory.
Well,
There's nothing there.
that is a live view from our river site, right by that kind of final roadblock we see on launch days, and there's nothing there, and there's nothing at the normal roadblock site. So I'm sure our cameras will be moving momentarily to see where that specific law enforcement vehicle has ended up. But for the meantime, the tank farm is still tank farming. So for those people who might be joining us for the first time for version 3 testing and are not 100% familiar with all of the different vents and everything going on, Ryan, could you just explain what we are actually seeing when we pan over and take a look at this side of the tank farm?
So the vent you see like right dead center in the middle, that is the new Pope vent or methane reclaim vent. That is for the methane reclamation system, where they take like the higher temperature gaseous methane and recondense it down back to liquid to continue to use to chill down the tank farm and whatnot. The other one you see billowing a lot right now is the box fan or fan box, whatever you want to call it. Inside are 3 exhausts for. That's nice. Are three exhausts for LN2 subcoolers. 2 sub-chill liquid oxygen using LN2 is kind of the better way to put that. What you're seeing get exhausted out is liquid nitrogen. It gets turned into a gas almost instantly. There is a small vent on the inside of that box fan that is for LOX pump chill down as well. So there's there could be some liquid oxygen, or I should say gaseous oxygen in there. And then the other vent that started up while I was explaining this is the booster methane subcooler vent, which is nitrogen exhaust coming off of the booster subcooler. So that's booster methane subcooler. So that's how they chill, sub-chill methane before they load it on the vehicle. And you'll see these increase and go down, increase and go down, and that's as they enter different stages of chill down, whether they're chilling down the subcoolers themselves, whether they're chilling down the lines from the subcoolers to the valves that go into the trench, and then whether or not they're chilling down from the trench all the way to the mount, and then the service structure itself. So they ebb and flow and go through different pressures and whatnot as they're going through different stages of chill down. There can be a point at which once they've chilled down most of the stuff in this area here, if you were right next to the tank farm, you would all of a sudden hear the pumps turn on as they started to pump the propellant through the lines into the cryo trench that goes all the way to the service structure and whatnot. So at some point, they kind of keep them off as they chill down everything around here. Then they really turn the pumps on and do that. So I don't know if that's happened yet. I'd have to try to listen to a different live stream to see if I could hear that or not.
Indeed, and the wonderful illustration there, courtesy of Jay Keegan, who is producing today's stream. Thank you, Jay. Pressing the buttons once again. Oh, there we go. We've got some sound. Listen to that. Wonderful. Let's see here. We have got a lot of support at the top of the stream already, which I should probably go through. It's probably right that we do this. We've already been live for 20 minutes or so at this point. But before we even went live, we had David, sorry if I pronounced that wrong, but thank you for becoming a PadRap member, as well as Attila, thank you. And Carabtor has become a PadRap member as well, in addition to Sengel, who's become a Capcom member, which means you now get access to our behind-the-scenes Discord server, where a lot of stuff goes on, so make sure you join that when that all gets sorted out automatically. Mikhail, thank you for the €2 support. Let's go 33 by 33 metric seconds. Grissu, thank you as well for your support, saying beep. Of course, a reference to our 24/10, I should say, live coverage of the Artemis 2 mission. Gracie, thank you for becoming a PadRap member. Rankly doing a $30 tip at tips.nasaspaceflight.com, saying, let's all tip or super chat our guesses on the duration of the impending static fire. I'll go first, 30 seconds. Well, it's very kind of you, Rankly.
That would be
I
Ryan.
would love that.
That would be epic, but Ryan, could they even support that with the amount of water they have in the water tanks?
Oh yeah, absolutely. The water system they have there could probably do 3 launches worth without having to really refill, because they can reuse some of that stuff. They've got frac tanks around there to help treat some of the stuff, I think, before they put it back in. But basically, I know for certain they can fire the deluge twice at full power, full pressure, full duration within like 10 minutes of each other, or like 30 minutes of each other. They've done it. So yeah, they could definitely support a 30-second static fire without any issue at all. I don't know how the trench handles that long under fire. It should be able to handle it fine. I want to see it. I think it could handle it without any issues, because if you do it at half power, it's not like you're running it at max. So I think you could do it, yeah.
And on top of this, we have CJ, who's asking, could this mean they are going to fuel it all the way and then static fire for a minute or two? Ryan?
Well, I don't know if they'd static fire for a minute or two. A minute static fire with booster? Well, if you go to 2 minutes with a static fire, you're 30 seconds away from basically using all the prop you have left in the booster, because at that point, that's the ascent burn. I don't think the trench I don't think they really built it to handle that. We've only seen the deluge fire for a full like 60 seconds at one point, so I don't think they could go that long. But I doubt they would want to fire it when fully fueled all the way. It is kind of risky, but then again, you never know. They could fill the whole thing up and then fire it for 10 seconds. I wouldn't put it past SpaceX to do that. But they've been pretty cautious this time around, so maybe not.
And on top of this, I'm pretty sure this is from the Raptor side, but we need to say it anyways. Patrick Bob, who always does these stupendously large amounts of support over on Starbase Live, has done a $500 tip at tips.nasaspaceflight.com. And, you know, our brains.exe stopped responding yesterday for the amount of incredible support that we got. And Patrick Bob just kicking it off once again. Like, literally, like, Patrick does these regularly. Like, literally does these regularly. It's... genuinely, Patrick, I'm sure they thanked you over on the Raptor side, but thank you so much for your ongoing support of NSF, because this goes so far in helping to make the photons flow through the internet to your screens from these cameras. It's not a trivial thing to have tens of cameras in the middle of nowhere actually broadcasting in high definition for, you know, on a scale which is achievable by an organization like ourselves. So thank you for that support, because it genuinely goes really, and I know you know this, Patrick, but for everyone else, it goes really, really far, and it is a big help.
Amaze. There's my
response. So, does that mean it's a 500-second static fire?
I don't think Booster has enough prop to do that unless you do it only off like a few engines.
Not with that.
Yeah, that's over 8 minutes, and this thing is only meant to fly for 2.5. So I'm not.
Maybe one engine. Maybe if you only did the center threes and used up all the prop out of it, and including using the prop out of the LOX landing tank and whatnot. If you used everything, maybe the 3 engines could probably do it, or 5 or something. Yeah. You just got to calculate the flow rate on that and how much props on board, and then figure out what engines you would need and at what thrust level or throttle level you would need to fire at in order to actually have a static fire for that long.
Mm-hmm. So. I mean, we were all geeking out yesterday at the flow rate of them loading the propellant onto the vehicle, but don't forget that, of course, they burn through all that propellant even faster than they load it on the rocket. Like, they burn through the propellant 10 times faster than they put it on board the rocket. So the flow rates when it comes to liquid rocketry are, for a rocket of this size, just incomprehensible. But I'm sure we'll be able to talk about propellant loading rates very soon when they actually get into loading propellant on this vehicle. Of course, the tank farm has been spooling up over the course of the last few hours or so, and we have gone live now that things are getting very exciting, as we can see here looking on over Highway 4. We have a question here from Greg, and they are asking, have they really been building this pad for almost 2 years now? Max, I'm going to throw this one over to you.
You say, well, you make that sound like it's taking 2 years. I would say it only took 2 years to build a pad this sophisticated and this advanced and this big. Like, 2 years is not a lot of time at all. I mean, 2 years ago, we were at Starship Flight 4. And Pad 2 was in its infancy. And at that point, we were still in the Block 1 Starship days. And look at where we're at now. I mean, we are literally 4 days away from the 3-year anniversary of Starship Flight 1. And they already have a second pad that is more sophisticated and able to actually, in theory, support rapid reusability of Starship, both on the ship side and on the booster side. And even though they haven't launched from it yet, that will probably change within the next month. And I would argue that 2 years is not a lot of time at all. It's an incredibly short period of time to build a pad of like this, just in terms for especially the launch mount itself, with its entirely redesigned deluge system and flame trench, the way the booster is clamped down, the twin BQDs. Everything from literally from below the ground up, I guess in that case with the flame trench, right? I would argue 2 years is not a lot of time at all. I think, Ryan, is there more you want to add to that?
I will say to this, they did have a slight head start with this pad. All the tower sections were already built and sitting in Roberts Road for a while. And on top of that, they had an entire storage tank farm ready to go that they could just kind of hook into. They did have to add some more pressurization systems, but basically they already had the storage tanks done and whatnot. Well, either way, doing the entire pump farm system, the pad, everything else in just 2 years is amazing. I am really curious more than anything is how long it'll take him to build even one pad at 37, because that is literally from scratch. 39, they already had the tower there, and they've got a methane sphere, kind of helps a little bit. But like 37, they have nothing.
I mean, they didn't though. The tower was just put there years ago.
Well, it was already stacked and welded together. They just need to modify it. It's not like they needed, when they went to start 39 again, it's not like they had to literally assemble the tower sections again, put them all together, then stack the whole thing. They didn't have to do that again. And that adds a considerable amount of time to it, which is why I'm curious to see how long it'll take to build 37. I figured it's going to be at least 2 to 2.5 years minimum to build the whole thing, because they gotta source all those horizontal storage tanks, and that's not simple. Either you have to pre-order those things, which there can be a decent lead time depending on how many you're ordering, or you have to find where there are ones just kind of spare lying around. It's not a simple thing to get that many storage tanks. That's a lot, because those storage tanks can hold 950 to 1,000 cubic meters of prop. They're big. That's not simple to go and get. I mean, they're not the only ones trying to get those kinds of tanks. Blue is too.
Yep.
We saw the filings. They're about to build another pad.
Yep.
Which means they're going to have to expand their own tank farm or build another one entirely.
And if it only takes 2 years to get most of the towers, if not all the towers, done at 37, and mind you, we're talking about 2 separate launch towers and 2 separate catch towers for both booster and ship there.
Oh, that's... I mean 1 year for one pad. I'm not talking...
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Even still, if they're able to build both launch complexes there in the next couple of years, and have them borderline flight ready, 37 is a lot closer to pad 36 than 36 is to 39A. So Blue's pad and SpaceX's most northern pad there at KSC are about as far apart on the Space Coast as they can get. The only pad that's farther away from Blue is pad 39B, where SLS just launched from, and where Mobile Launcher 1 just rolled back from today. So the day that we have a New Glenn 9x4 vertical at 36 and a Starship version 3 or version 4 full stack at 37 is going to be a very delicious day.
I just want to say, because of how much Blue and SpaceX are going to want to launch in the future, they're going to have either they're going to modify it, or they're going to be flying the 7x2 with a bunch of upgrades out of the 36. We'll call it 36A and 36B. So they may have a New Glenn on 36A, a 9x4 at 36B. SpaceX will have probably 2 at one point in time. SpaceX is going to have 2 Starships up on 37, plus 1 up on 39. If they're really flying this many. Well, it'd be Amazon Leo missions or tanker missions for Blue, because we know their aspirations where they want to go as well. They're in the same boat with how much they want to fly. Maybe not as much as Starship, but they still want to fly a lot based off of their goals. We're going to have 5 or 6 super heavy, about 5 super heavy rockets vertical over at maybe 6 if SLS is still around, over at the Cape at one point in we're still probably 4 or 5 years away from that point if SLS is still flying. But I mean, can you imagine an SLS at 39B, a Starship at 39A, 2 Starships at 37, and 2 New Glens up at 36?
Dude.
And that's not counting the smaller rockets.
Correct. Yeah, that's not even. That's not. And when we say smaller, that isn't even including Falcon, either Falcon 9 or Falcon Heavy. Vulcan at that point, because Atlas will be retired probably here in the next couple of years, at least. And
Nope.
not to mention Nova at 14, Terran R at 16. Who knows what else? Yeah, that's... Yeah, we're heading towards a very exciting time here at the Cape in the next 3 to 5 years.
I just want to say, this is not the stream for this discussion, but Ryan said it, and I just need to get this off my chest. If they do end up calling it Complex 36A and Complex 36B, that is going to get so confusing, because the current Complex 36 has nothing to do. It's on a completely, they completely remodeled that site. 36A and 36B used to exist, but they don't exist anymore because they built a hangar on one of those pads. So if they make a new 36B, it's going to have nothing to do with the old 36B, and we'll have 2 sets of 2 pads in the same place with the same names, but they'll be completely different, and the statistics are going to be...
What do we name it?
Just call it Complex 11. I don't know. We can talk about this on the New Glenn stream, which fingers crossed will be on Sunday with the New Glenn launch. Anyways, let's talk about Starship, because we are watching big clouds now. Big clouds coming from the tank farm. Is that? Oh, that's. But I thought it was a plane. They're just birds. Birds in the background as well. I'm sure Gage will be watching somewhere. Okay. Let's have a look through here. Supersonic Retro Propulsion is asking, do we know if there's a difference between the ship sea level engines and the booster gimbaling engines? I'm going to give that one to Ryan.
And no, they're Raptor 3. Raptor 3 is Raptor 3 is Raptor 3. The only really one that has a difference is the RVAX, really. There's some differences here and there. But basically, you could take a ship sea level engine and put it on booster. The TVC layout is the same. All of them have TVC mounts. If you go look at the 33 engine pictures of when they put Booster 19 on the mount, you can literally see that all the outer engines have attach points for TVC, the thrust vector control actuators. So you can basically mount them where you want them to and whatnot, because they don't, unlike on Raptor 2, you don't, on the outer engines, you don't need that outer QD plate anymore, because the Raptor QDs don't exist anymore. So that's not needed. You don't need that anymore. And basically you can put in a Raptor 3 wherever you want to these days. You just got to hook it up maybe slightly differently, or whether it has actuators or not. That's basically all it is. They standardized a lot of it, which is nice. Mm-hmm. It helps.
I mean, drives down cost and increases their ability to ramp up production, you know. One more question I have on that is, obviously on the aft end of the booster, they've removed a lot of the shielding and instead have the engines themselves are the shielding now. Are they doing a similar thing on the ship, or will the ship engine still have kind of that protection?
That's a fantastic question. We haven't seen the aft end.
Should I ask you in a few weeks?
Well, that's the thing is, we'll know for certain when they go stack the ship the first time what's in there. The expectation is that it's very possible the aft of the ship looks exactly like the aft of the booster, where you have the R3s exposed and the aft of the ship has the metallic tiles like booster does. It's very possible that is going to be their thing, which means it gets rid of the false ceiling, which gets rid of areas you might have to vent if you really need to. But the ship still has a vent on it. And that's the 10 engine setup that they had on there. What was
God,
it?
that looks so cursed.
Oh, it looks so much better now. It really does.
Oh, yeah.
But basically, we don't really know if it still has a false ceiling. It's kind of hard to tell. I don't think there's any weld lines on the aft to say that it does. We will find out when, we'll basically find out when they lift it. When they go to stack it and someone looks up under the ship. That's kind of our best. That's our best opportunity to know, because they cover the aft ship from us looking at it.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of lifting the ship, putting it on the booster, and fingers crossed launching it, Todd says, a quote from Elon on X, Starship V3 booster and ship will be ready for their first flight in a few weeks. Now, Max, Elon has been saying the Starship launch is 6 weeks away for the past 16 weeks. So what do you think about this one? Do you think this one's realistic, or do you think it's months and not weeks?
Well, look at it this way. When Elon has been saying that before, we had yet to see either flight vehicle roll out to their respective facilities for testing of any sort. I think I think it was the biggest red flag and the biggest mark of confusion there. But at this point, I believe, obviously, Ship 39 has returned to Mega Bay 2 following a singular 6-engine, 1-minute static fire over at Massey's. Booster 19 is on its 4th or 5th day in a row of testing, and likely there might be 1 or 2 more to come. We'll have to keep our eyes on road closures. But both vehicles are, for the most part, tested now, and are just waiting for final checkouts in Mega Bay 1 and Mega Bay 2 before they roll back out for full stack testing, which itself is the final check mark before they're ready for launch. So we're actually within spitting distance here of both vehicles being launch ready. So I do think that there is actually merit to what he's saying now. I mean, we could be as little as 3 weeks. It could be as much as 5 weeks. We'll have to wait and find out. I still think that the second week of May is maybe a bit of an optimistic target, but I think it is still certainly possible. I think Ryan was saying like maybe 3rd or 4th week of May. But either way, I think May is very much on the cards, and obviously pending any major issues that pop up with either vehicle, which hopefully there aren't. There is certainly merit to what he's saying there. So I think everyone can finally start getting ready for the next flight coming up, hopefully in 3 to 5 weeks.
You know, this is really weird. Is all I'm going to say right now. Is a methane reclaim vent started to die down around, well, it didn't really even die down. It's the subcoolers really picked up at like 3:16 or so. 3:16 p.m. is when the subcoolers really started to pick up, and they haven't really stopped since. And the methane vent has died down a bunch. And if that's the case, they... let's see here. That would have been 3:16. Which means
we're doing maths live on stream, everyone.
That's chill down in like... It's like, is that a 45-minute chill down?
That's pretty quick.
Are we seeing frost?
Bottom
right of the booster.
They're chilling... Are they doing that now?
What?
Is that the... Okay, so when they were over at Massey's...
It's getting taller.
When they were over at Massey's, they did it, one of the cryos, or at least 1 or 2 of them, they did it where they put in chilled down gas to chill the tank down before they loaded it. And it made the frost level kind of hard to see. But of course, with them loading as quick as it does here, I don't know if that's the case. But as of right now, it looks like they've chilled down the tank. And they might have just done a speed chill, which was like 45 minutes.
So they're putting... I'm just trying to understand this correctly. Are you saying they're putting super cold gas inside the tank to make it cold?
Yes. And then they're gonna dump liquid into it. Like
okay.
Crazy.
So this is kind of like when you get a milkshake, but they keep the glass in the fridge to keep the glass cold, and then they put the milkshake in it. Yeah,
kind of. Because they did this over at Massey's where you would see frost go up on the vehicle, but it wasn't frost from liquid, it was frost from gas because it wasn't a uniform line going up. It was a very uneven line of frost across the vehicle. So, but the subcoolers, right now, the methane reclaim vent is not really running that much, and the subcoolers have been just going. So I'm waiting to see that kind of condensation. There it is. Yeah, we're prop load.
Yep. Yeah.
Here we go.
In about an hour.
This is...
An hour till frost.
Yeah, buddy.
That's... What?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
Our brains have stopped responding once again.
Okay, so just for anyone saying, if this is what we think it is, based off of the fact that the vehicle has left and they are doing a wet dress rehearsal today for this booster, that means on launch day, your from methane reclaim vent to prop load to frost is an hour. And then your load is an hour, so an hour and a half from methane reclaim vent to launch is in like an hour and a half.
And Ryan, just for some people who might not be 100% familiar with the entire process, how it used to be, how does 90 minutes compare to how they used to fill Starship for the last version? And they already did that like ridiculously quickly compared to the rest of the industry.
2.5, 3 hours. Starship as a stack used to take 49 minutes to load, give or take. Let me see. I have the timeline for the for Flight 11. Stand by. Let me pull up real quick.
But even then, when you think of Falcon 9, that takes over half an hour or so, and that thing is like a quarter of the size of this vehicle.
So
I think less.
Actually, it was longer. So for Flight 11, liquid methane ship fuel would start at 53 minutes. LOX would start at 46:10. Booster methane would start at 41:15, and booster LOX load would start at 35:52. With this, booster LOX load will start about 5 minutes earlier, so it's not that much earlier. But the biggest, but obviously, let's see how quickly they fill this thing, because I don't know if it's going faster or not right now. And we're gonna have to time this. And I would say, Jay, let's keep an eye on the methane tank. I'll just say this on stream, because if this really is a WDR, then methane frost is going to appear much sooner than before. So,
and there you go. On the right-hand side, we are watching that methane tank. So liquid oxygen is being loaded on the left. We're keeping an eye on the methane on the right, and it's very, very cloudy. It's way more cloudy today than it was yesterday. I wonder if that's part the chilling down or part humidity, because that is there's more clouds than I remember.
It's going to be hard to track the loading, because they already chilled part of the tank with the gas, so it's going to be a little bit harder to track it. And I will say this, the one way they can do this chill down is, so in the past on pad 1, they basically had to do it in steps as they chilled things down. As far as I know, I don't know if Zach's in chat or would correct me on this, but as far as I know, they have cold pre-press lines hooked into multiple sections along the prop lines. So in theory, they can basically chill down the lines all together in sections and chill it down quicker. So I wonder if they didn't do that before, and now they're doing it now to do this as like, okay, this is what we're going to do on launch day, but during testing, we didn't really need to do that kind of thing. Which, to be honest, for pad 1, they did have a thing where they did a chill down slightly different for testing than for launching early on, and then they just kind of did the same type of countdown for the whole thing. So,
in the meantime, while we watch this booster getting loaded, we do have more questions coming in, so I'm going to keep running through questions. And if you have a question, you don't have to super chat, you don't have to do anything like that. All you have to do is just put it in chat. Make sure you put at NSF or at NASASpaceflight. We bring it into the queue, and we'll do our best at answering them. We have Captain Matty D asking, during the static fire, so talking about yesterday's static fire, we saw debris land in the pond. Do we know what it was, and are there any concerns around camera placement? Max, I will give this one to you.
The latter half of that question is just hilarious to me. I think it probably just FOD that was either missed or that was farther out from the trench than I guess people had any sort of thought that would be affected. I'm honestly not. I'm not really too concerned about that. It could be as simple as like a piece of metal or something that was just like laying around somewhere, or even like a stick or a piece of woods, whatever. It could have been a number of things. But I mean, when you have excuse me, when you have a rocket as powerful as Super Heavy is by itself, there's a lot of area around the launch pad that's going to be affected, even though you have a bidirectional flame diverter trying to contain all of that thrust in one area now. I think I'm not too concerned, and obviously SpaceX isn't either, because they obviously are continuing testing today with Booster 19. Whether or not they are going to ignite the engines today remains to be seen. But seeing the exhaust behavior and the plume behavior out of the trench yesterday did make me think I have to reconsider camera placement for Flight 12 whenever the time comes. I've already been thinking about that for months. And the one data point that I've been after for so long is just seeing how the plume is going to behave out of the trench. And that was only after a 3-second duration static fire. Obviously, it's likely going to be on the pad for a bit longer than that before actually taking first motion and liftoff. But yes, I am taking careful consideration as to where to put cameras for Flight 12 because Pad 2, I believe, has a lot more potential than Pad 1 because Pad 1 was a hot mess. I'm sorry, it just was. Between the exhaust being thrown in literally 300 in every direction. Every direction there was exhaust, there was dust, there was steam being blown everywhere, and you had to place your cameras very, very strategically behind one of the old launch mount legs to give yourself the best chance of having a window of visibility in between the exhaust cloud, and that always wasn't that didn't always work because at that point you're also vulnerable to wind direction in where the clouds are going to be blown, and that may or may not obscure your views. But yes, I'm taking careful consideration as to where I put my cameras for Flight 12, but I won't really know for sure until I'm boots on the ground back in Starbase again. But I still have no idea.
Cross line of the methane tank.
Really?
Breaking news.
Whoa!
Boy. That is a frosty methane tank, everybody.
Yeah, but that's a lot sooner than we've seen before, right?
Oh, way sooner. Usually the LOX tank is up to the top of the taller chines. And you usually get it 20 minutes into LOX load. No, this is way earlier. This is 7 minutes after the start of LOX load. So no, and also if we look at the subcooler exhaust, both of them are going max. They're going.
Wow.
So if you look at the subcooler exhaust over there, real quick, I don't want to backseat produce, but I kind of want to show something real quick. So you see how powerful those are. That's what there's going to be a one more vent, which is going to be in between those two. That'll be the ship methane one. And then there's going to be an added vent to the box fan, and that'll be what it looks like on launch day. That's how powerful it's going to be on launch day.
That's insane.
There you go. Thank you, Jake Egan, for the illustration there.
Look
wow.
Look how quickly they're loading the methane.
You know, I think I've figured out how SpaceX is doing this. You know, in Kerbal Space Program, you can take one of them cow controllers and glitch it so it will go to negative 100%. I think that's what they're doing. They're just running the engines in reverse and refueling the booster that way. I think that's how they're doing this so quickly because, like, there's genuinely the laws of physics prevent them from doing this, and yet they've managed to do it anyways. I mean, this is just incredible. Goodness me.
So remember how yesterday we did a quick calculation on the LOX tank as to the flow rate?
Yeah.
We should probably do that with both the LOX and the methane tank today, considering how much.
Should I break out the stopwatch again?
You should break out the stopwatch again. Yes.
Let's see how quickly a methane ring takes.
Because just to recap, yesterday, just on the LOX tank, it was what, 400 gallons per second that we were able to calculate?
Yep.
And that was just on the LOX tank. Now throw in the methane tank as well.
Okay, I'm gonna wait for the LOX tank is a little bit difficult to measure because these clouds keep in front of it. But I will measure the methane tank. It's nearly at the top of that second ring. So when it gets to the top, I will start the stopwatch and stop it when it gets to the top of the third ring. But in the meantime, Mika, thank you for the €25 support. They are asking, at yesterday's static fire, they moved the booster transport stand away from the launch site. Did it end up returning, and do we know why it was moved other than maybe safety? Ryan Webber, where is the transport stand? What has SpaceX done with the transport stand? Everyone wants to know.
It is between the water deluge farm and the pump farm. It's kind of I think it's Dune 2, Jay, that we can see it in. You can kind of barely see it. Yeah, some of the clouds are covering. If you see that like yellow crane there between those vertical tanks there, the two pairs of vertical tanks, it's kind of like right there. You see, or I should say, you see the telephone pole?
Yeah.
It's a little bit to the right of that and behind it.
I literally cannot see it at all.
It's hard to see.
I can see it.
Yeah, there it is.
RDL. Yes, I see it now.
That's where it is. Yep. So
hiding away in the background, keeping itself at a safe distance. Although closer than yesterday. Yeah.
That was a very peculiar spot that they moved it to, like right before testing began. I find it funny how Ryan tossed that question to Ryan. That's a funny statement itself. Ryan tossed it to Ryan. But I find it funny, hilarious how that question was just tossed to Weber, because he went off on a tangent yesterday. Because it was like, from our highway camera's perspective, it was blocking the northern exit of the flame trench. Like, exactly. Like, you could not have coordinated that any better. It was just comedic gold.
Yeah. Good Joe Guy, thank you for your support. They're saying around 10 seconds is my guess. I think, Ryan, though, this fuel load testing has probably ruled out a static fire. Maybe they might just be going for this kind of load testing instead.
Yeah, unless they just want to push the button.
I mean, big red button, I'd press it.
Yeah, I think this is just going to be a full load. So basically, the entire booster is going to be frosty. The only things you really won't see frost on are like some of the external stringers, the chines, and then the truss section itself. But every single other piece, and maybe some of the cowbells, but basically every other bit of this booster is just going to be frosted. The raceways might be a little bit clean, but we'll see if those get frosted over too. Either way, it's going to look awesome because they're fully loading this with sub-chilled propellant. So basically, they're loading this as if they would launch it. Is what it looks like they're planning on doing today.
That's kind of scary.
It's a lot of propellant.
That's a lot of propellant. That is a lot of potential energy in one spot. Maybe that's why they backed up the roadblock. Who knows?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the village is evacuated, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that's a good point as well.
During that time, I have been doing some stop watching for methane tank rising frost, and I measured it at 90 seconds. I think that's roughly correct. If it is 90 seconds, and that was also easy to divide, then that means the methane tank is loading 1,286.5 litres of propellant per second. That is 339.9 liquid gallons per second.
So we're talking about 700 gallons per second combined load in booster right now.
Yeah.
700 gallons per second. So at that
400
rate,
gallons out of one QD and 300 out of the other.
So you could, at that point, you could load Falcon 9 in like 2.5 minutes, and you could load Electron in like 3 seconds. Literally 3 seconds. Because yesterday, just based on LOX flow numbers, you could fill it in 7 seconds, and for Falcon 9, it'd be around 5.5 minutes at that flow rate. 700 gallons, like borderline, like almost cuts that number in half. Good grief.
Mm-hmm.
How quick could they load New Glenn?
Oh, I
don't know.
Numbers. I don't know. They start like 3.5 hours before launch, but then they also do a big hold period, so I don't actually know. But Ryan, something I would also like you to talk about is that we've seen a fully frosty version 3 booster before at Massey's, but that wasn't with, I don't think that was with methane and liquid oxygen. That was with nitrogen, right? This is the first time they've done this much methane.
Yes, it was with nitrogen and liquid oxygen. So what they do for cryoproofing is they put liquid oxygen in the liquid oxygen tank, and they put nitrogen in the methane tank is what they do. Because you don't want to use methane to cryoproof welds and whatnot. That could end badly. So you don't want to do that. So they use nitrogen instead. And yeah, they fully filled it to the brim once. I think it's under. We probably have some. I'd have to go find some of the shots of that, but it looks really, really cool. But We also will see, it looks like we're going to see that today, except for it's going to be liquid oxygen and methane, which is a decent amount of methane. Let's put it that way.
There's a reason why that they have such a big, much larger exclusion zone when they put a full tank of methane and a full tank of oxygen on board, compared to, just the little sliver they get for the static fire testing. This is, we don't want anything to go wrong. We don't want, of course, we don't want anything to puncture a hole. But if something were to happen, it would be a big explosion. And speaking of puncturing holes, you can do that, because you'd want to do that with our pins. Our wonderful pins available at shop.nasaspaceflight.com.
Wow.
See, I was getting there.
Wow.
I call it doing a Sawyer. I got there. There we go. We, of course, have all of our wonderful pins, Starship pins, at shop.nasaspaceflight.com. We have had the pin Kickstart bundle, which has all 12 of the Starship pins, and of course, and you kind of, because of the pricing of that, you get a couple for free in that bundle. We also had the display mount as well, which is hand pretty much crafted, 3D printed from NSF, and that has also been very popular with everybody who have gotten those. But now, even though those are still available, as you can see right there on the shop, now we have every single pin available independently, so you can get whatever pin you want for your collection, and they're each, as you can see there on the screen, available separately, individually for purchase. If you want to get just a specific flight or a specific pin that you like the design of or anything like that, you can do so with the new collection available on the shop. But again, I will say the display board is still available, the bundle is still available, those are still there while supplies last. But there you go. Every single pin now available separately at shop.nasaspaceflight.com. That is really, really cool to see.
So, if, it looks like the load rates are about the same as they would for a static fire. At least the lock side is, but it looks like the methane is doing the actual full load. So I'll say we might have although, man, it looks like LOX is farther than it was. And it's only been 15 minutes.
Yeah.
It looks like is that more than half the tank, or is that half the tank on the LOX? I'm trying to tell.
I can't tell from this angle on CP11.
Because we basically got LOX frost at 335, which if we have a 30-minute prop load, that puts us at 605. But based off of they're already at around half or over half on both tanks, which tells me there might be even loading even faster. So maybe a T0 at like 4?
Good
4
grief,
something?
man.
Yeah, between 4 and 405. A T0 for what I would guess would be they drain it, they probably do a DSS, fire up the deluge, maybe even fire up the top deck deluge all at the same time. And then I don't know, maybe they have some fun and do an igniter test or a spin prime or something. We wouldn't be able to see a spin prime though with all that water, and we'd probably hear an igniter test just barely. But with if they fire both deluges off, which I'd be kind of curious to see if they would do it and do the exact timing.
Ooh.
Because I want to see the timing on that. We'll see. But I have a feeling, since they've already fired it once with the booster on the pad, we'll get both deluges firing off in the correct sequence for a launch, to test pressures and test timings, and all that. And then of course they'll once it's all said and done and they're good to go, they'll start detanking. And we'll know when they start detanking because we'll see the recondenser vents over at the methane tanks turn on, and that's when they're detanking back to the tanks. So we'll see what the T0 looks like and what they decide to do here. But this already looks really, really cool, and they may not static fire today, which at this point I kind of doubt they will. This is still awesome,
dude. We haven't seen a fully frosty Booster 19 with real propellant yet.
Yeah.
And we saw it in some of our cameras when it was at Massey's. but it looked super wonky with the top dome on the methane tank Frosty as well, because that is also going to be directly interfacing with these 6 Raptor engines on ship during hot staging. But that is quite literally the top of the methane tank right there. That isn't the top of an interstage. That isn't shielding of any kind, really. That is the top of the methane tank itself. So that dome is going to be frosty. Booster 19 is going to be basically completely white in frost.
This
Very
is
close.
It's gonna look like a fluffy cloud just sat on top of the pad with all of this frost. I mean, you're not going to be able to see any steel at all.
What?
We haven't seen a fully frosty booster with grid fins on it either, because it didn't have grid fins when it was at Massey's. There's another thing.
Oh my god.
This is another great thing to talk about. Ryan, I will just let you run away and talk about these things forever, but unlike the last generation of boosters, these grid fins are recessed inside the methane tank. The grid fin is inside the methane tank.
Yeah, so with the interstage gone and the hot stage ring gone, SpaceX elected to have the integrated hot stage ring with the forward dome be the blast area for hot staging. And so they couldn't really put the grid fins there, and there wasn't anywhere else to put the grid fins, so the only other place was recessed inside the methane tank. Now, the motors aren't actually in it. There's a cavity that goes inside the methane tank, and that is a bunch of doublers that attaches to the tank wall. We don't know what's inside that to help support the forward dome and the 3 cavities. There's probably some kind of truss or system, or there's probably a bunch of supports in there helping it, but we've never been able to see inside that because Booster 18's forward is still somewhat intact over at Sanchez, and they haven't cut it open for us to have a look-see, which SpaceX should do it while someone's flying so we can look. Just FYI, please do that. And so they're recessed into the tanks now, and there's only 3 grid fins. There's not 4. There's 2 that have, you can actually kind of see them a little bit. They have catch points on the actual grid fins, and then there's 1 rudder fin, which actually has a slanted design to it due to airflow reasons and stuff like that. So it's grown on me, I think, the 3 grid fins, and it technically makes sense. What would be the point of having a grid fin on the other side if you want to do a decent angle of attack reentry? Because the grid fin would just be basically out of the airflow and be useless. It's added weight for no reason. So you just use 3. You use 2 to control it on either side and 1 like a rudder, basically. It looks so cool.
For what it's worth, I understand the whole, we use the 3rd grid fin as a rudder and it will work. But I tried it in Kerbal and it really didn't work, and that makes me a little bit nervous. But I'm just saying that there's a 99.999% chance that's my poor piloting skill. But I tried really hard and I couldn't get it to work.
That's Kerbal, though. Well, here's the other thing is so that grid fin has the other 2 are like straight up and down. They're vertical basically holes in the grid fin to allow air to pass through. The fin, the rudder fin, is slightly slanted so that the airflow goes through it at an angle and comes out at an angle. So to help so that the booster doesn't like tip up or down too much and keeps it controlled in the correct orientation. Now, granted, and I say this, it's SpaceX's GNC team is pretty good, and also that is Kerbal space program. It's not like
it's very realistic, Ryan. It is a 100% accurate, true-to-life physics simulation, Ryan.
Okay.
It worked in Kerbal, so it'll work in real life. That's how it works, okay? This is how we design rockets in the 21st century.
Doc and EJ would say the same, yep.
Yeah. As we continue to watch the methane rise in the methane tank, we have gotten big support, which I do need to hit very quickly. First of all, D. Myers, 3266, has done a $100 super chat. simply
Good.
saying,
Wow.
this is just helping to feed my addiction. I will say it again. I know I sound like a broken record, and I hate sounding like a broken record, but thank you so much. It is so appreciated from everyone here working on this stream right now, from everyone at NSF, all the support that we get, and these big, you know, we get regular 3-digit supports, and this is just unbelievable sometimes, the amount of support you guys give us, and we're so grateful for everything we get. And you know, we try our best to turn it around and turn it into even better coverage for the missions ahead. And fingers crossed we will continue to keep doing that for a long time to come, because yeah, we have had 3 static fires of, well, 2 stages of one vehicle and 1 other heavy lift vehicle in the past 4 days. I mean, what more can you ask for? What more can you ask for? 3 static fires of a Starship, a Super Heavy booster, and a Nuclear booster in 4 days. I mean, that's just the amount of stuff going on. Incredible.
Yeah.
So, the methane subcooler has died off a little bit. So I think that's what they're planning to do as they get closer to the top. But basically, I think they're trying to line up the flow rates with so they do a really, really fast fill, and then they're getting up to the top, and then they're going to slow it down as they get to the top, and as they have boil off and have to vent off and whatnot. Because you can see even right there, you can see both tanks are venting as they're getting up to the top, because there's gas above you're boiling off liquid as you're loading it, and that boil off turns into a gas, and then the pressure increases at the top of the tank. Well, you can't keep loading too fast. You kind of have to adjust your loading alongside dumping that gas overboard, so that you maintain your pressure and you don't blow the tanks open. So it looks like they're doing that with the methane, as it looks like they're almost to the bottom of the dome there. Which is, boy, that looks amazing. And then they're getting pretty close to the common dome for the LOX, but the LOX looks like it's still going pretty strong. I would expect that to slow down a little bit here, but just to say, we saw LOX frost 21 minutes ago.
It doesn't feel like it was 21 minutes ago, but that's simply how fast this thing is going.
Yeah, it was 3:35. We saw LOX frost, or at least we saw the fog off the bottom of the mount. So, like, if they finish this in the next 4 minutes or so, or get close to it, because they'll usually take a little bit longer to top it off. But basically, that's a prop load in a little over 25 to 27 minutes. It's just even faster than what it did for the static fires, if they go that fast.
Yeah.
And ship has one. How quick are they going to load the ship for a full wet dress? The wet dress is not going to take long, guys.
I mean, our wet dress rehearsal stream is going to be an hour long, because they'll be able to fuel it and detank it. They could do that within the duration of a flame trench. I mean, like our flame trench live show on Fridays. I mean,
He said the thing.
He said the thing, yeah. Well, from the start of Reclaim to a fully loaded vehicle at this rate, based off today, will be an hour and a half. So, that is, they basically cut their chill down time and load time in half.
that is bonkers.
Which is kind of what I expected. The funny thing is with the amount of subcoolers, pumps, and the newer line size, I did expect, especially the prop load, to be cut at least in half or so. I didn't think chill down would be cut that quick.
No.
Rankley has a great analogy here. Thank you for your support again. They say, this booster feels faster than me burning a CD back in 2003.
Only a few will get that reference, but those who do that's awesome.
Look
And
at
I
the
think-
top dome.
Yeah, I think Frost is now climbing onto
my
the top
gosh.
dome.
The frosty attach points for the truss there.
And you can see the clouds coming through the truss.
That's insane.
That's so pretty.
S-
That's so pretty. That's all I can say.
It
It's so pretty.
It looks so good.
Yeah. I mean, it's like they're literally like climbing up the truss. It's like they're following the truss struts up and then just going on their merry way into the atmosphere. But just
And even the bottom of the trusses are getting cold.
Yeah.
So the truss itself is getting cold too. I have a request, Jay. Can we have CP11 zoom in on it on the top? I have a request.
Ooh. It might be too close to get a good angle of it, because at that point it'll be looking straight up.
I don't know. Well, let's
You can
find
try.
out.
Let's try.
We're gonna find out real quick, and then we can put it back down once we're getting closer to the end here to see what they do.
Yeah.
That might.
But we're keeping an eye on the launch pad because, of course, SpaceX will probably surprise us once again with a detonation suppression system test and a deluge test. But there you go.
I said that, and then the LOX drain started, which would indicate end of LOX load. So, I might be underfilling booster for these flights, which I mean isn't a surprise. They did that for other flights too.
SpaceX saw we cut to this camera and they have activated the smoke screen.
Right?
Quite literally. I mean, I know it's the winds, but it's oddly
And the
convenient.
methane one went. So both vents on and the subcoolers are off, which means we're at full load.
That is remarkable. Absolutely remarkable. So I think
Just
we
blow
should
the
probably
dough.
stand by because they could run a DSS or deluge, or I should say a deluge test.
Yep.
From what we don't think they're going to do a static fire today, but I wouldn't rule anything out. But I would say probably be on the lookout for a DSS and deluge test because that is a recurring theme with these tanking tests over the past few weeks.
So they are underfilling the booster. Because
Just by a little bit.
It's not to the top of the dome on either one of them. So yeah.
But regardless, I mean, they got very far. This is a ridiculous. I want to measure the amount of propellant they have in this thing right now in Olympic swimming pools because that is so much propellant inside of that booster. I mean, it's truly incredible.
I mean, the amount of just potential energy sitting on the pad right now, just in the booster, is alarming.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why the roadblock is backed up so much farther away.
Mm-hmm.
Probably they might go even they might even go farther back when they do a full wet dress. I'm not sure.
Well, full wet dress will probably be the closure at Richardson, honestly, because that's a lot of prop on board.
Yeah.
I'll probably do a launch day type of thing for that one.
Mm-hmm. Just look at that. It's just so pretty.
DSS.
Oh, here we go. Detonation suppression system is running. Let's stand by and see if they fire up the full deluge system as well. Detonation suppression system concluding. No deluge test there, but
Nope.
looks like a good DSS test regardless.
So that puts T0 at around 403. Yeah.
Yeah, 403, 10 seconds maybe. Somewhere around there.
Yeah. They started methane reclaim vent at 2:28 p.m. and T0 is at 403.
So that's a 95-minute entire process, and that is, some rockets take longer than that just to fuel up. They're going the entire process. I mean, they want to be launching rapidly. They want to be launching these things often for tanker reflights and however many Starlinks and AI data centers in space. I mean, they've got to fly rapidly, and to fly rapidly, you need to be able to fill it up rapidly as well. And over the last few days, SpaceX has proven on this brand new launch pad design, they can do just that. And, 95 minutes from the start of venting on the methane reclaim vent to a simulated T0 time is bonkers. Absolutely bonkers.
I still wish that we got a full frost, but I guess this is their flight load for now. But for orbital missions, and if they start carrying decent any payloads, which it might not be that far out, they'll definitely do full loads for this one. But my guess is they're underfilling it because, because they probably don't really plan to recover this booster. And they might be playing it a little bit more safe with this one. I don't know. And they just don't need all that prop in there just for that reason. It could be why.
Well, I mean, Max, even with this limited flight load, you can even see, like, on version 3 booster, SpaceX has optimized every single cubic millimeter that they have. I mean, this thing is so optimized.
There is no space unused on version 3 vehicles, either ship or booster, but especially booster in this case, because you can see how much frost there is from top to bottom up into the hot staging truss there towards the top of the methane tank dome. They have certainly. I'm trying to think of
detank.
Is there a depress? Do you see a depress?
They're detanking.
Okay.
So
I'm already seeing no frost on the top dome.
Well, they never got all the way up to the top dome. They never frosted that.
I thought they got halfway up it though. I don't see any vapor on it yet. Or maybe I do. I don't know. It's hard to say.
I think there's condensation.
They're still above the edge of where the truss is, joined to the top part of the actual barrel proper, and not the dome itself.
Hey Ryan, what time did we see prop load begin on booster again? What was it? 35?
We saw the methane. We saw the LOX frost around 328 or so is what where it was.
Okay.
We saw condensation on the tank a little bit earlier than that, like 325.
Got it.
Methane frost was 335, and then a T0 is like 403. But either way, it's a 95-minute process to do this. Just nuts. An hour chill down with about a 35-minute load. I should say a 30-minute load or so, 32 minutes, and then a couple minutes to press the tanks, drain the surface structure, and then get set up for a launch. That's basically what they're doing.
This thing is so pretty. I'm going to keep saying it, but this thing is so pretty.
Something about cryogenic propellants. I don't know.
Yep.
And also no thermal insulation on the outside of the tank either, so we can just admire the frost in the vapor.
Yeah.
Textures.
I love Sophie, the spray on foam insulation, but I'm just saying, Frosty is just as pretty as Sophie. I love that foam. If I could have a blanket made out of that foam, yes, please. Probably not, but you know what I'm trying to say. It's beautiful foam, but this frost is just, it's so pretty. I can't wait to see a full stack. Imagine a full stack Frosty Starship with this much propellant in it. I mean, literally every single. There will not be any stainless steel visible on this rocket when it is fully fueled. I mean, it'll just be incredible. Apart from the flaps, the flaps will be the only things exposed from the frost. I mean, it's going to be beautiful.
Flaps, nose cone, payload bay, the chines, the truss itself, and then basically the raceways. But other than that, everything else will be frosty. Yeah.
And you can already see the ice kind of peeling off from that part of the methane tanker, the booster there, as as the winds blow. And I mean, you can even see there, like the winds blowing on this side of the booster because the vapor is going, you know, away from camera. We can see that, and you can even see like the pattern that the wind is blowing onto the tank here. I mean, that's so cool. In the meantime, while we continue to watch testing of Super Heavy Booster 19 in Starbase, Texas, we have gotten the support queue is even longer than it was yesterday, and I feel a little bit bad. So I will go through some of these as quick as I can. Firstly, Coilo, thank you for becoming a PadRap member. Trevor, thank you for becoming a PadRap member. Luna Mare Plains, thank you for becoming a Red Team member. Also gifting 5 Red Team memberships. That is wonderful. Thank you so much. Glyn Taylor, thank you for gifting a Red Team membership. And we have Back the A. Thank you for gifting 5 Red Team memberships. Big Dave saying thanks for all you do. Not much, but I hope this will be at least get one of you a coffee. Look, please never ever say anything like that. The most we will ever ask for anyone is to just tune in, press the subscribe button, and enjoy what we make. That's all we ever ask from anybody. Anything on top of that is icing on the cake, and we are incredibly grateful for anything. But please, 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 never feel like you have to give anything. Your time is the most we will ever ask for. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for the support at tips.nasaspaceflight.com. But please, everybody watching right now, thank you so much for tuning in. Because if you weren't here, we'd be talking to ourselves, and it'd be a little bit weird. Carson, thank you for, not our Carson, a different Carson, but thank you for your support. Super pressing question. If we get into Propellant mode today, are we going to get our giraffe? Absolutely love what you guys are doing here. I mean, Jake Egan producing today's stream is the one with the telestrator right now. I don't know if he dares to try and do a giraffe, because the thing that Alex drew was an unrecognizable animal. Like, it did not recognize anything that has ever walked on planet Earth before. It was definitely not a giraffe. Jake Egan telling me that he has been banned from drawing long-necked creatures by Kevin Michael Reed. That's interesting. We're gonna have to have a talk about that one. Okay, we'll have to see. We'll have to see. So no giraffes today from Jay, I'm afraid. Psychological projectionist, thank you for your support. Can they make a sound to shoo away the birds before a static fire? Ryan, we have seen both from Ship 39 and from Booster 19, there were some observers, shall we say, which may have gotten a little bit too close for comfort on both of their respective static fires this week.
Yeah, a bit of some unfortunate accidents with some birds, as in they might have been in the line of fire when, well, the fire went off and the shockwaves went off, so, you know, it kind of stinks when that happened. But hey, I actually got some other booster-related news. The next booster tank is starting. One of the Booster 20's tank sections just went into Mega Bay 1. The forward should probably come back out soon. And they'll finally start stacking Booster 20's methane tank like a month later than I thought it would. But, you know, that's the next flight's booster. And it's not stacked yet. And, well, they're finally going to finish it off here. So, yay!
More good news.
Big
Whoa!
Whoa, look at that go through the tower. That was awesome.
That was... They just dumped... That's methane they just dumped on the tower right there.
That's cool. They should do that again. Again.
Again!
Bideford, thank you for your ongoing support, Bideford. Always great to see you in chat saying still no... This is from an hour ago, so just... put that into context, but saying there's no traffic on Highway 4 is the closure further back. Yes, we do believe the closure is beyond the normal point since the law enforcement official moved further away. Ludamare Plains also supporting us again. Turtles Forever, Go Booster Go, thank you for your support. Pun Token, thank you for your support. Once again, SpaceX deserves props on their fuel loading speed. Again, I think this is Sawyer's alt account. I
mean, it's a great name for it. You know what? Sawyer should I know he won't, because he greatly values the NASA man. But Pun Token as an X handle or a handle on Instagram would be amazing for Sawyer, if it's not already taken. by this person or anybody else.
I mean, now you've said that, someone's going to go take it. So
I know. I just had to do that.
we have a $10 super from Observer. Thank you for your support. Is SpaceX trying to figure out how fast they can fuel up a booster so they can launch faster and maybe reuse boosters in a faster cycle? Ryan, I mean, regardless whether this is their intention, it's going to help that anyways.
Well, their intention was to fill it faster. It always has been. You remember, you can even go back to the older flight streams. SpaceX had always talked about how they're going to get their prop load times down. Well, unfortunately, Pad 1 was not capable of getting them down any further than they were, and part of that was because the actual supply lines for the propellant weren't big enough. The upgrades that Pad 2 has are an increase in pumping capacity, an increase in subcooling capacity, and then the lines themselves are bigger. So, if I remember correctly, I think the radius, it's double the radius on the on all the supply lines, and when you double the radius, you quadruple the area because the square cubed law for a circle. So basically, they can flow basically double the amount of prop through those lines and load it twice as fast. And then on top of that, with the quicker chill down, one thing that this pad has that Pad 1 doesn't have is for the really long straight runs through the cryo trench and other areas, there are a bunch of vacuum jacketed lines which are quicker and easier to chill down. You can also keep them chilled down by keeping them flooded. So basically what you do is you kind of just flood the system, or you use high pressure, really chilled gas to chill those down. And then you can much quicker chill them down and chill it down in sections rather than having to do one at a time. You can do like most of it all at once. So they made a lot of significant upgrades to this system to fill it this fast. And yes, they just kind of wanted to see how fast they could do it, and this is the fastest they've done it. I will say this too, they were literally figuring it out as they've been testing Booster. Back when they originally did chill down, way back in the first time they did the tanking test when Booster 19 was out a month ago, it took them 2.5 hours to chill. It took them like 2 hours to chill down, maybe 2.5.
Yeah.
Over the course of like 3 or 4 days, they got it down from 2.5 hours to 2 hours to 1.5 hours, and now they're down to an hour. So they've been progressively getting quicker to do it, and here's their quickest. And if this truly was a full wet dress, then this is what it's going to look like on launch day. All of a sudden, the methane reclaim vent will go, and it's like, all right, we're launching in an hour and a half, which is awesome. We don't have to wait long.
That will be great. We do have some replays of the detonation suppression system. Actually, what we have... no, I've just been corrected. We have a replay of the methane tank vent, and then we can see replays of the detonation suppression system. Hot off the press. Let's see the big vent. Whoosh.
Wow.
That was a big vent.
But it wasn't the best vent, though.
What's the best vent?
That is only that only comes from Falcon 9, my friend.
Okay.
And let's see some detonation suppression system action. Again, when they went into this kind of super duper extra duper fast loading of the booster, we kind of weren't expecting a static fire. Looks like they're just doing a fueling test, and that is exactly what we have seen. But anyways, they have ignited... I shouldn't really say ignited. They have initiated, there we go, the detonation suppression system designed to make sure things don't ignite underneath the launch pad when they are not meant to. But there you go. In the meantime, Rankley with another tip at tips.nasaspaceflight.com. How awesome would an internal tank view be? I can assure you SpaceX has them. They will never share them, but they have them, because sometimes they accidentally show them for Falcon 9.
Yes.
Omega Spud. That's an awesome username. They are asking, do you think these version 3 engine bells will warp like they did on V2's flights? Are warped bells even a problem or no? Max, I will throw this one over to you.
Well, so we can break this question down into two parts. So I think I'll answer the latter half of the question first. Are warped bells even a problem? And we can answer that just by looking at the two reflights that SpaceX has had of Super Heavy with the version 2 boosters, being 14 and 50 on Flight 9 and Flight 11 respectively. The bells were very warped, especially on the outer ring, because they opted to refly a lot of the Raptors on the outer ring specifically, because those don't have to relight. And that's also why they get warped, because after that, after stage separation, the outer ring of Raptors do not have to relight whatsoever, so there isn't any methane running through the engine bells to keep them cold and chilled down, and the engines aren't chilled down anymore, and therefore they are much more subjected or vulnerable to the higher temperatures upon atmospheric reentry at those speeds. That is why they warp. But as we've seen from multiple angles now, or as we've seen from two flights now, I should say, that the engine bells warp right back into their proper shape once the engines ignite. Granted, the caveat there is that they were not on the inner 13 or the inner ring or the inner 13 engines, which are those that have control authority and gimbal and also have to relight at points during flight, either for the boost back burn or for the landing burn. I guess for both, actually, in both cases. So moving that on to Raptor 3, it's tough to say because the design of Raptor 2 and Raptor 3 is they're so different. I mean, you put the two next to each other, it looks like Raptor 3 isn't even finished. But the whole point of Raptor 3 being designed the way it is, and with the lack of shielding around the engines on the aft end of the booster, the engines themselves are serving as part of the TPS, or the thermal protection system on the aft end of the booster when it comes back through the atmosphere, and that's obviously where we also see that glow of orange plasma on the bottom. So, will they warp? I have no doubt the ones that don't have to relight will, of sorts, perhaps not as severely as Raptor 2. Maybe they'll go through a similar procedure to keep them chilled down, to keep them more protected from the super high heating during reentry. But I think that was well taken into consideration upon Raptor 3's design, with lessons learned from Raptor 2. But as we saw, some of the engine bells on the reflown Raptor 2s looked incredibly non-circular.
Yeah, that's a great word.
They were very warped. I mean, we had only brief glimpses from the bottom up view from SpaceX's engineering cameras before Flight 11. I think Flight 11 gave us the best view from one of their cameras looking up at the aft end of Booster 15. But they were not even close to being circular, and every single engine lit perfectly for liftoff and did not give them an issue. I think it was the same also on Flight 9 with the reflight of Booster 14. So with the lessons learned from Raptor 2 being implemented into Raptor 3 and version 3 boosters going forward, there is undoubtedly going to be I shouldn't say undoubtedly. There is going to be probably some warpage on the engines that are not going to relight, but it probably will not be as severe as found on Raptor 2, and obviously they can't have that in the long term if Raptor is going to be rapidly reused in the future.
We have Lucas, thank you for your support, saying hello from Paris. Hello to you from not Paris. Luna Mare Plains in chat again. Can you please put Alex's giraffe/llama drawing in the shop? I would like that on my wall, thanks. I will happily file your request to the shop team. However, I have a feeling they might have slightly higher expectations when it comes to metal prints and paper prints for that matter as well. But I will let them know your request either way. Negative Ascent Specialist, thank you for your support. Asking, maybe I missed it, but does Jack still do live streams? Not with NSF. Jack has a new job. Jack got a proper job. He now works at Astroforge as a... he's like communications specialist or something fancy like that. He still exists though. He's still on the internet, so don't worry. He still exists. Jack is still here. He just doesn't do NSF live streams anymore. But
Does he, though?
we are. He's still there. He's still there. Steve Daniel, thank you for your support. Asking why do the COPV covers, I think they mean the chines on the booster, have those gaps/cracks? Did that happen after yesterday's static fire, or was it just a temporary thing? Ryan, can you talk about that? Because there is some tape, I think, that is also covering some parts of the chines as well. So, well, maybe the tape has kind of liberated itself a little bit here, but can you talk about that?
Yeah, the speed tape has come off a little bit. Those were temporary covers in case they need to take off the chines and access them a little bit easier. When it rolls back to Mega Bay 1 after this, they'll put basically the bolt metal strips between them, and they'll cover it with basically a piece of sheet metal rather than tape. This was just a temporary thing, so they didn't have to undo the bolts every time they want to take a chine off. It just makes it a little bit easier, that's all.
And wonderful sprinkling of some ice there, which breaks off from the side of the booster onto the quick disconnect there on the right side. That's pretty. Sparkling away in the sun. Have Jack, thank you for your support there. Just curious, do they keep all that methane in the farm all the time, or do they waste the methane once done with testing? Ryan, they do reclaim a little bit, right? When they detank?
They reclaim a lot of it. I should say this. I don't know exactly how much they reclaim. They reclaim everything they can. So, of course, you saw that there's venting on the methane tank. That's when the pressure gets too high, they can vent it off. They can vent off about 7 tons of methane per test, which when you're venting gaseous methane, that's a lot. That takes a while to vent that much. Otherwise, it's detanked through the fill drain port on the methane BQD, goes back through all the way back to the storage tanks, gets recondensed back there, whether it's a gas or whatever. They basically take the gas and recondense it, and then they take the liquid and basically put it back into the tanks. So they reclaim literally everything they can. And they usually can reclaim pretty much all of it. Of course, you have to vent some off, and then Lock's side, I'll say that too. They reclaim as much as they can as well. So what they reclaim, they can. What they can't, like when it comes gaseous, they don't recondense it. They just vent it off. Because LOX is a lot easier to come by than methane. And also, the EPA cares a little bit less about dumping oxygen into the atmosphere as they would methane into the atmosphere. So, also, if you're SpaceX, you don't really want to be venting a ton of methane into the atmosphere. You then, if you're not careful and you do it in the wrong location, you create an explosion hazard if you do too much. So it's kind of one thing you want to avoid. Plus, methane probably costs more to get than liquid oxygen.
Yeah.
I don't know if it does, but yeah. So you just want to take it back as much as you can. So
I mean, SpaceX has no experience whatsoever with accidental overpressures in the launch pad area at all. That's never happened before. So I'm not sure why they would even have to think about that.
There's no reason why. There's no reason why the DSS exists at all. No reason.
No, of course not. And then we don't even need a flame trench. We can just do a flat pad. You know, we're aiming to not have any flame trenches at all in Boca Chica. We're just going to have
water.
You know, we're just going to have a concrete slab and see what happens.
Mr. 7
How did that turn out?
Entered the chat.
Yeah. Let's just say we might all have a little concrete collection from that particular event. Bideford, thank you for your support. Unfortunately, I think we're probably 42 minutes beyond your request for camera movements there, but thank you for your support nonetheless. It is greatly appreciated. And Stephen, thank you for your support. $20 tip at tips.nasaspaceflight.com. Bit more of a direct way to support us, just saying love the streams and keep up the great work. Well, thank you so much for your support. It is greatly appreciated. I'm still going through the support queue here. I promise we'll get back to normal questions, but I keep letting the support queue run a little bit too long. It's a bad habit, and I'm trying to get on top of these things. John Coaches, thank you for your support. You're always in chat as well. Artist Space, what would work as a Starship serial name? I mean, that's probably the most out there question we've ever been asked on a live stream, but anyone have any thoughts? What would you call a Starship serial?
You know what's funny is Frosted Flakes is pretty good because it's a Freddy Frosty booster.
That actually is good.
But
That
it already exists though, so.
Oof. Oh boy. Well, it depends on the flavor. Frosty Raptors, Raptor Charms. I don't know.
Cocoa Raptors.
Cocoa Raptors. Yes, I like that. Boom. Boom. Cocoa Raptors. Problem solved.
I hope the Cocoa Raptors don't go pop.
Snap, crackle, pop. Rice Raptors. Oh!
We're delirious after 5 days
need
of this,
help.
aren't we?
Yeah, I mean, hopefully we get a break soon. SpaceX have been testing for an entire week straight at this point.
Someone check for beach closures tomorrow, just for kicks.
I don't see anything. Nope, nothing right now.
Okay.
So.
Well, we all know SpaceX.
There is no rollback closure either. So I will say that there is no rollback closure yet. So maybe SpaceX is still looking at the data, and they're waiting to see when they want to roll booster back, whether it's tomorrow or Saturday or something like that. But of course, we'll have to keep an eye out for when this thing rolls back. Unless SpaceX goes, nah, psych, we're doing more. Space, yeah.
I mean, it is the most SpaceX thing ever to do the thing and then post the road closure after it's happened, because they've done that. They've done that on more than one occasion. Sometimes they don't even post a road closure at all. So who knows what SpaceX is going to be doing tomorrow?
That's true.
Either way, if it's interesting, we will be live. We'll be live anyways on Starbase Live 24/7. But if it's extra interesting, we'll be doing dedicated live commentary right here. Oh my goodness, so much stuff is going on right now.
Everything, everywhere, all at once.
Exactly, 100%. 100%. I mean, even today, we've also had the mobile launcher from the Space Launch System roll to the door of the VAB, and it's outside the VAB right now. I mean, so much stuff going on. So much stuff going on across all of the launch pads all over the world, everywhere.
Is that a vent off the chine?
I thought
You saw that, right?
I saw something there too, but maybe that was just the wind. I don't know.
It looked like a vent off the chine.
So it's very...
We've been wondering if there was a vent there or not.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to tell. Anyways, sorry.
I'll run through some more support. R-Tortube. Sorry if I pronounced something incorrectly, but thank you for your $50 super chat. That is incredible. Incredible. Literally, I mean, these people can put whatever they want in these messages, and most of them are just saying, thanks for what you do. I mean, thank you for supporting us, because again, we couldn't do it without your guys' support. Thank you for your support. It is so grateful. We are so grateful for it, and it is really appreciated. Ken, thank you for your support. 700 tons of liquid methane. That's a big cookout. Skip the O2, please. Michael, thank you for becoming a PowerDrap member. Pink Pain 1991, thank you for your support. Booster 19 full booster looks amazing. I agree. Captain Q, thank you for your support. When the transfer tube is fully filled, how many rings is that equivalent to? I think it's time for some maths. Ryan, how tall is the transfer tube?
It's basically the same height as a Falcon 9. So that's...
An entire Falcon 9 is 70 meters. I don't know if you mean the whole rocket or just the booster.
Just the booster. Just the first stage.
Was it, that's like 50 meters, maybe?
I think it's 50.
I mean, I'm just guessing here, but if we say that's 50 meters, I'm doing maths live. I'm doing maths live. That is 353,429.17 litres. And if one ring is 115,783.4 litres, we take the first number and we divide it by the second number, and the calculator says 3.05 rings.
It's about
worth of
43
prop.
meters tall, is what the transfer tube is.
Okay, so I'm going to do the maths again with the new number, and that says 2.6 rings worth of prop inside the transfer tube.
Yeah, because it's 40. So 40. It's 43 by 3, basically, as a tube. So yeah, that's a lot.
That is a lot of prop, and that's a transfer. That's not a propellant tank. That's a transfer tube. I guess it's kind of a. It's kind of both. To be honest, it's both now. Like that is.
Yeah.
It's a tank and a tube at the same time. But still, they call it a transfer tube. Oh, look at the grid fin shadow. Look at that.
Oh, yeah.
The transfer tube. Yeah, that looks awesome. The transfer tube is so big. They literally have a lot. So
It's borderline coaxial tanks with how big it is.
So basically, there's a hatch just above the common dome. I think it's on the other side. Yeah, I think it's on the side facing. It's the side facing our dune cameras. But basically, that hatch, you go into that hatch. There's a ladder that goes down the tank slightly. Then there's a ladder attached that goes down the common dome, and then into the transfer tube, and then the ladder goes all the way down the transfer tube to the bottom. Where I think there's a split off to kind of makes like a small, like, methane landing tank per se to pull prop from, at least what we think is down there. We saw this ladder when we saw the exploded bits of Booster 18 out at Massey's. We learned a lot about this booster when that thing blew up. So as much as it stinks that booster blew up, it's kind of cool we got to see inside of it. There's a lot. We learned a lot. The same thing when Ship 36 exploded. Even though it was in shrapnel, we learned a lot about how that thing was built. I'm not kidding. Like, we did. It's funny when accidents like that happen, you go, oh man, it stinks. Well, we learn a lot about it too. It's just funny like that.
It's amazing.
I think they're about halfway detanked with methane, because where you see like that frost or the condensation really rolling off the tank, that's about where the liquid line is or lower. Because it doesn't follow the frost, because once the liquid leaves, the frost is still going to stay there until that tank or that part of the tank heats up and the frost melts. I mean, just look at the locks. You still have a piece of frost that's on the other side out, like, behind the sun, so it's in the shade and it's barely melted, and the locks tank is like half empty at this point. So
I'm going to try and rattle through. We've got a little bit more support left to hit. I know it's a lot, everyone, and we're very grateful. I'm trying to get to these as quick as I can. Elmad, thank you for your support. With the added power and fuel capacity, are we trying to boost more weight, increase speed off of the pad, or take the Starship higher? I mean, I think it's just mass, right? SpaceX wants to be able to take as much mass to an initial low Earth parking orbit as possible, because then once they can get all that mass there, they can refuel and refuel and refuel, and then send it. Basically, they have infinite range if they can keep up the tankers to a degree, right? They can basically go as far as they like with Starship.
I mean, you always want your engines to have as much performance as possible with as high of efficiency, because the higher your efficiency is, the less propellant you are using that's not being used towards actual thrust. Like with Falcon 9, not all of its propellant is being used for thrust. Some of it is being used to power, or is used in the gas generator, which spins up the engine's turbopumps to power the engine, and is then just dumped overboard. With the Raptors, because it's a full flow stage combustion cycle engine, it has two separate. Oh my gosh, why am I blanking on the term? Oh goodness, not torch igniters. Power heads. I mean, the whole thing's a power head. So it has pre-burners. It has two separate. Yeah, it has two separate pre-burners. One that is methane rich and one that is LOX rich. And the byproducts of combustion in each pre-burner, which is then used to spin the pumps, is then piped back into the engine for complete combustion. And that is why a full flow stage combustion cycle engine has the greatest chances of the most efficiency of any liquid fueled rocket engine ever built. And there have only been, I think, 2 or 3 engines ever built that are full flow stage combustion cycle, and Raptor so far is the only one that has actually flown. So you always want an engine with as much performance as possible, and the more thrust you can get out of it, the better. And on that point as well, the colder you can get your propellants, the more you can fit inside of the same size fuel tanks. That's why both the LOX and the RP1 on Falcon 9 are super chilled, like borderline to the point of where they become frozen solid. Because at that point, their densities are as such that they can squeeze in as much propellant as possible and more than they otherwise would if the RP1 was, say, at room temperature and the LOX was at the more standard temperatures that we see in other rockets. So it's a very complicated. The whole equation is incredibly complicated, but you always want as much power and performance out of your engines and your tanks as possible. And of course, that is what SpaceX has been evolving on with a Raptor and a Starship just in general over the past 5 or 6 years. Starting out with, of course, with Hopper back in 2019. Golly, that was 7 years ago. Good grief, we're getting old. Oh my god. Ugh.
I mean, just look at this side of the methane tank. Like, the frost line is already so much lower because it's in the sun. And it's also interesting how the frost is kind of being retained on the grid fin cutouts there. Like, that's quite cool to see.
Yeah, it's a lot more steel to have to heat up because it's like there's at least one doubler on the outs. There's at least one doubler on the inside, and I think there's one on the outside too. There's a lot of more. There's more steel to heat up, so it takes longer to melt off. You can actually see where there are doublers and whatnot, where frost will linger in places. It's actually kind of funny. Yeah, there's a ton of steel inside these things. Like, you see a smooth tank wall, but you see all those little dots all along the tanks. Those are all weld marks from stringers and doublers and everything else that are inside the vehicle. There's a lot of extra steel that holds this thing together. I like, one of the best comparisons is when this thing is fully detanked and you take a look at this booster with all of the weld marks that you see on it. Go back to Booster 4. Booster 4 had like nothing. Like, in order to get inside that tank, like, I'm not kidding, to get inside that tank, they had to hook a crane up to it so that because they were worried without pressurization they would collapse the tanks.
Yeah,
that's how weak that booster was. I was surprised it was able to hold the ship above it with how weak it was, to be honest. If that thing had tried to fly, I'm almost certain we would have had a pad fallback.
Or maybe even like
pad explosion with that.
An
stack.
Atlas Able, where it just like imploded and just
it just goes
fell over. Yeah.
Yeah.
Crash.
That stack was all that was stacked was good for testing some initial stuff and things like that. After that, that wasn't really a good stack to use anymore.
What did Elon say in 2019? Like Mark 3 to orbit or something? Mark 2 to orbit?
I think
Mark 3 to orbit, Mark 1 and 2 were like 20-kilometer flights.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
How times have changed, eh? How times have changed.
We haven't gotten to orbit yet.
Hopefully that changes soon, though. Techran, thank you for your support. I'm concerned about the rate that Raptor 3s are being made. After the 39 Raptor 3s are spent from this launch, how many do you think there are for Flight 13? Well, Max, we talk about this every week on Starship Update. There is... The Raptor serial numbers go into the hundreds now. They have well, I shouldn't say they have that many, but they have at least manufactured that many of Raptor 3s.
Well, we have observed Raptor serial numbers well into the 130s or 40s now. I think that was what we were at on the last Starship update. I mean, I should remember, but that was almost a week ago now. And that whole the amount of info that we have to go through and screen for every Starship update, just melts my brain. But we are well into the 130 or 40s that we've observed. That doesn't mean there aren't like 20 or 30 or 40 more elsewhere in production that we haven't seen. Those are just the ones that we have seen cross our cameras in McGregor, which of course every single one has to for quality testing and making sure that the engine is safe to fly. We have also seen a Raptor come back from Booster 19's first round of testing back last month. I think that was Raptor number 90. No, I can't remember what a number that was. But one of the numbers, one of the Raptors that was on Booster 19 the first time when they only had 10 was observed back at McGregor for further testing. But they are well into the 140s or 150s now, if not much higher. Because again, just because what we've observed just because we've observed Raptors in the 140s or 150s does not mean that's what they're currently at. There's way more than that currently in production. And Raptors, as far as we are aware, are built in Hawthorne still, and are trucked in, and then they are tested in McGregor and then shipped down to Starbase for vehicle installation. So yeah, Raptors are, they have enough Raptor 3s, I think, at least sea-level Raptor 3s, to support, I think, 3 or 4 super heavy boosters right now, which is nuts. But that also helped that Booster 18 popped when it did, because that did not have any engines on it at all. so the engines that were going to be assigned to Booster 18 had nowhere to go now, and now can find a home elsewhere, if they haven't already.
They're probably on Booster 19, to be fair.
I would not be surprised, to be honest with you, one bit at all.
Okay, very quickly, Dwayne has done a $20 super, no message, but thank you for your support nonetheless. FWD79, thank you for your support. Frosted Booster's a serial name. Kwai, thank you for becoming a flight and upgrading to flight engineer. That is the highest monthly membership tier we have on YouTube, and that is an incredible amount of ongoing regular support. So thank you for that. You now will get your name at the end of every NSF live show we do on a slate which has a font which keeps getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And ODST Moody, thank you for your support there as well. And with that, we can talk about some more questions. I've gotten through the support queue, everyone.
Nice.
First though, we thought that they were filling up really quickly. Well, I want to show you something where they were filling up even quicker, because LSR from our social team has sped up the fueling process of Super Heavy Booster 19 into just a few seconds. So let's take a look at this. You can see the frost line rising on the LOX tank and then the methane tank way earlier than we were expecting. And look at that, already halfway full, over halfway. And pretty much topping off there. Incredible.
What gets me is that not only do we see methane, obviously frost on the methane tank way sooner than we have before, and there was barely any frost on the LOX tank, they have to fill the entire freaking transfer tube before we even see that.
Mm-hmm. And remember, we were just talking about that. That's over 2.5 rings worth.
Yes.
So if you take the measurement from compare the methane tank to the oxygen tank, when the methane tank we can start seeing frost, then subtract 2.5 rings from the oxygen tank, that's when they actually started putting stuff in the methane tank, because it have to go up the tube first before it can actually get to the tank.
Yep. Like, just with how big that transfer tube is, it's like borderline coaxial tanks at that point. Honestly. It really is. Like, I love Super Heavy, man. It's honestly like I love ship, but just like personally speaking, like Super Heavy is by far my favorite part of Starship, even though it barely gets to space and back.
Even though it now has wonky grid fins with only 3.
Hey, it is functionally beautiful, and that is all that matters in rocketry.
Doesn't work in Kerbal though. We have a question here from Sidharth. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong, but they are asking if we can explain how come the static fire on our stream seemed very short compared to the clip that SpaceX posted. The clip that SpaceX posted was in slow motion. Question answered. Even I can do that one. Dave Dodd is asking, how can they keep people from approaching from the beach from just walking up and down, or walking up from down the beach? I think I know what you're asking, Ryan. You can't actually get to, like, the Highway 4 is the only way you can get to the beach. There's a channel on one side and the Rio Grande River on the other side. Like, you can't really, unless you airdrop someone in, there's not really any way you can get to the beach.
You either have to cross over the channel for the canal from SPI, which there's probably someone watching, or you have to cross an international border, which is
and there's definitely somebody watching there.
Yeah, that's illegal. So, yeah, you could try to get in a boat and go out and land on the beach, but
don't do that though. Please don't do that.
Don't do that.
Please don't do that. Yes.
Don't do anything. Like, it's incredibly dangerous to get near this thing.
The exclusions area is there for a reason.
Yes.
And
no one try anything like that. Please.
People are watching all the time. Even when you think you might think, oh, what about this spot and that spot? It seems like they might not see me. They're watching every single square foot of that zone. Trust me, they are. Do not even
Coast Guard
don't even think about it.
Don't think about it.
Don't even think about it.
ResistoJet, someone else who is regularly in chat, thank you for the question. If all goes well with the rest of the booster tests, will they need to roll booster back to Mega Bay or bring Ship 39 to it at the pad? Ryan, I'm pretty sure we're going to see the booster roll back, right?
Yep, booster will roll back into Mega Bay 1. It's got some stuff to finish up first. They got to seal all the chines up. They might take the chines off, take a look at some stuff in. They'll definitely take a look at the engines. Take all the testing. They have a ton of testing hardware that's on there for the static fires and whatnot. That'll have to come off. And then they'll basically get it ready for flight. It'll probably take a few weeks to finish everything up. Same thing with Chip. They got to take all the testing hardware off and everything. And then once both are ready to go, they'll roll them both out, stack them. And make sure the alignment's good. They'll hook up the ship QD. They'll probably do a small load test just to kind of commission some things here and there. And then they'll do a full wet dress. Well, they'll load both vehicles all the way up to the flight level they want to load to. Maybe run the whole deluge that time around, and then detank, probably destack ship at that point, unless they don't think they need to, and then get ready to launch it. Assuming the license is good and everything else is good to go, they'll get ready to launch. We're still probably at least a couple of weeks away from that. I would still say 3 to 4 weeks, but we'll see.
Human is asking, do you think we will ever see a static fire with a ship and payload like with a New Glenn static fire? Max, as someone who saw New Glenn static fire, I will throw this one over to you.
Not in Starship, no. That's just that. There's way too much to go wrong there, and just the way. I mean, SpaceX. They don't really
SpaceX has a bad history with static firing with a payload on top.
Well, it isn't even that. Like Falcon 9 is a whole different vehicle compared to Starship, and they have. No, I don't foresee that happening at all. Especially in this. Maybe at some point SpaceX can find a way, but for the time being, based on the way they want to verify their vehicles are ready for flight, they have no reason to do that. At some point, they'll probably get to a point where they'll only have to static fire the booster once, like they do with Falcon 9. But that's probably at least a year or two out, I think, and that's even being optimistic in terms of making sure that Starship is operationally reliable enough at that point with reflights and all. You have to have a lot of confidence in your vehicle to not static fire it every single time you want to fly. And Starship is still new enough and not understood enough, especially with version 3 not having even flown yet, to even entertain that idea, I think, just from our perspective. I'm sure SpaceX already has, but in terms of static firing with a full stack, the problem there is, with ship on top, if both vehicles are fully loaded and something goes wrong, you lose both vehicles for that flight. Both ship and booster are gone. and not to mention the explosion you incur from all propellant in all tanks from that boom, also wreaking havoc on your launch site, your tower, your launch mount, and your tank farm, and the concussiveness that would carry over to Star Factory and everywhere else around the area. That there's way too much to go wrong there. That would make a bad day for a ton of people and set the program back a very long time. But I can't really see. I can't foresee that path being entertained for like at least 3 to 4 years, to be honest with you. I don't think they ever will, but I could be wrong. Time will tell.
Time will tell indeed. Max, I have another question for you. G. Bennett is asking, what would happen if you stood in one of the clouds of gaseous oxygen?
You get cold. You'd get cold. And I don't know. It would honestly probably feel very refreshing. I remember Jack and I were, I think this is pre-flight 6. Jack and I were hanging out just outside of the tank farm area on Highway 4 doing some pre-launch stuff. And they were venting some nitrogen out of the tank farm. Granted, that I know that isn't oxygen, but the cloud came our way, and it was like one of the most refreshing feelings that you could ever imagine, especially in the South Texas sun. Like you wouldn't suffocate. You wouldn't suffocate. You wouldn't combust. You just might get very chilly, or you might feel very refreshed. I don't know.
Is there any way to find out?
I just don't want it to be in a highly concentrated one.
Yeah, maybe not highly concentrated.
If it's highly concentrated, well, nitrogen, you might be missing your oxygen. For highly concentrated oxygen, there is such a thing as O2 poisoning for people.
Yep.
You can have too much oxygen, if it's too concentrated. So, yeah. You just don't want too high concentration. So, yeah.
We have another question here from Mikhail. Do they have an environment regulation limit on the number or total duration of static fires? Ryan, yesterday you were talking about the environmental assessment that they had to do. Is there anything in there limiting like the duration, how much static fire they can static fire in a year or something?
They do. I'd have to pull up the numbers again off the PEA. I don't remember them off the top of my head. But they do have limits. Not that they follow them, but they have limits. Supposedly.
That frost line continuing to stretch down as it melts away in the South Texan sun. We have a question here from Unike asking, how does it compare to other rocket programs, the amount of time it is taking SpaceX to reach orbit with Starship Super Heavy? Max, I'll throw this one over to you, but I will just preface this by saying, like, it is taking SpaceX a long time to get Starship to orbit. Like, that is a fact. But
yes.
Starship is a development program, unlike anything we've ever seen before. Correct. You know, every other rocket we've ever seen of this scale, well, I can't say of this scale because this is the biggest rocket that has ever been made, but of a similar scale, you know, medium heavy lift rockets like this, other super heavy lift rockets, they've all been designed on paper first and then built because they had to work first time. SpaceX, you know, they do work on, well, probably on the computer and then they'll build it. But their philosophy with Starship is build it, see if it works. If it doesn't work, we'll make it better.
I mean, it's really difficult to compare to anything else because no other rocket has been developed like Starship has, even Falcon 9. I think just about every single rocket, at least developed here in the U.S., whether it be New Glenn, the Space Shuttle, SLS, Atlas V, Vulcan, even going back to the Saturn V, Titan II, Atlas, the early Atlases. I mean, maybe not those, but the Titan IIs for sure. Every single rocket has been built such that it was designed to work on the first try. Like the intention or the targeted result there wasn't for it to clear the pad. Like they wanted it to get to orbit on the first try. It needed to work. And for some vehicles, like SLS especially, if it didn't work on the first flight, that entire program, being Artemis, and that rocket especially, would have probably ceased to exist forever. Whereas Starship is being developed iteratively, meaning that SpaceX can afford to build and fly vehicles for the sake of gathering data without there being any sort of commercial risk, because of course there is no payload, with the exception of a Starlink version 3 simulator satellites, right? And it has taken them longer. They have not reached orbit yet, and it has taken them a while. I mean, Flight 1 is coming up on 3 years ago, and they still have not gotten there. And I think that's a headline that people love to run with. Oh, Starship hasn't gotten to orbit yet. But I think, yes, it has taken them longer than they would have liked. Agreed. But a lot of that played into what happened last year with version 2 not working the way SpaceX wanted it to with Flight 7, 8, and 9, especially 7 and 8. They wanted to reach orbit last year with version 2. They couldn't do it. And from what we can tell, it looks like that they're going to be aiming to get to orbit on Flight 13, pending everything going well with Flight 12 here, based on some recent paperwork that we have seen with the FCC. Wait, was it the FCC or the FAA? Somebody fact check
the FCC for the orbit on 13 thing. Which
got it. Okay. Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. So they could actually try for it on Flight 13. But that being said, pay attention to what I just said. They could actually try for it. On every single flight of Starship so far, they have intentionally not targeted orbit. They had more than enough propellant on board Starship to make orbit if they wanted to. They very well could have done it, but they have intentionally not been targeting orbit for the fact and the safety of those on the ground, because Starship is a big vehicle, and if you lose control of a vehicle of the size of Starship, you don't know where or when it's going to come down, and when you do, there's a solid chance that any large pieces of debris come down on the ground where you really don't want them to, right? So that was done out of safety. So they very well could have reached orbit by now, just from the amount of propellant they've had on board Starship. They could have easily done it if they wanted to, but to maximize safety and to maximize their understanding of how Starship behaves in space, they have intentionally not done that yet. But I think the fact that they have not reached that point yet, though, after 3 years of test flights, is kind of disappointing. But we also have to remember the data that they get from each flight is invaluable. Especially on the later version 2 flights. So it's easy to go back and forth, and it's easy to run away with the headline that is, oh, Starship hasn't reached orbit after 3 years. Yes, I agree. But at the same time, there's a lot more to that. It's an entire rabbit hole. There's a lot more to that headline than just, oh, SpaceX is behind and Starship just doesn't work. Like, it's not fair to say that either. So, yeah, it's disappointing, obviously, considering last year. Last year kind of seemed like a lost year in Starship development, but had they not had the failures that they did with version 2, there's a chance that the lessons learned from there would not have applied or been applied to version 3, just making version 3 hopefully that much better, and then obviously that snowballing into later versions of Starship going forward to ensure that it works. And for the sake of SpaceX and Starship, especially in the next couple of years, especially for its HLS commitments, Starship needs to work. And from everything that we have seen so far with version 3 testing, version 3 is off to a good start.
Speaking of seeing things, on the right-hand side, we can see that there are cars at the normal roadblock. There is a Cybertruck doing tricks on a hill or something, but we do see the law enforcement has returned to the normal roadblock on Highway 4, and there are already, 2 or 3 tanker trucks waiting to get to the pad to refuel, replenish after using up all of the oxygen and methane inside the booster. But there you go, cars moving forward from the further back checkpoint, because of course they put all the methane and almost all the methane and all the oxygen in the booster. So if something were to go wrong, that would be a big boom. You want to be even further away, but nothing did go wrong. There wasn't a big boom, so they can now come closer to the pad once again. So there you go, roadblock moving back up closer to the launch pad. In terms of road closures, we're not seeing anything just yet. We're not seeing any rollback closures, so I mean, I'm not
Yeah.
going to rule out any more testing. There could be more stuff to come.
Yeah.
We're not seeing anything indicating that they're going to be taking this booster back anytime soon. So, I mean, fingers crossed. It depends if you want more testing or not. I'd love more testing. And the reason I'm
take
saying that is because I'm
I'll-
preoccupied tomorrow and I don't have to be on a live stream, but I'm not sure what everyone else thinks.
I'll take another fire.
I'll take one more static fire. Screw it. F it. Let's go.
Yeah. Let's go.
Run it.
Longer duration. Let's go.
It's just like inject that into my veins. Let's go.
like 20 seconds. All 33. Go.
Dude, please. Like that would be
I will take
so amazing. Please.
It'd be. Imagine the cloud it makes.
Inject that seriously straight into my veins.
And you know, Max, why don't you quickly go down there and set up for that, just in case.
Yeah, you know what, Ryan? I'm on it. I'll be right there. I'll be right there.
Bring some slow-mo cams, by the way.
Yeah,
I can do that.
Please.
I can do
Yes,
that.
please. Okay. Let's see here. Next question. Anand Krishna R is asking, why doesn't Starship have lightning protection towers like other rockets? I mean, would protecting the tower be enough? Question mark. You know, we only typically see those lightning protection towers at kind of stormy, prone sites like, you know, Kennedy Space Center, Cape Canaveral Space Force Station, Kourou in French Guiana. You know, those places where storms tend to happen. Starbase, Max, you know, it doesn't really get the lightning like
Yeah.
Florida and French Guiana does.
Yeah, the weather in South Texas is normally not that volatile. I mean, it is in terms of like heat and humidity because it can get absolutely freaking brutal down there. Trust me, it's like you are quite literally in a desert down there, and you feel it. But in terms of like storms and rain and severe weather, you don't really have the atmosphere isn't as volatile down there, despite being in very close proximity to the Gulf, which is right next door, obviously, to the launch site. Yeah, you don't get the daily storms that we get here in Central Florida in the summer. So lightning is a lot less of a concern there than it is here. Though that being said, I wouldn't be surprised if at some point here SpaceX decides to install a bit of a lightning tower on top of the actual launch tower itself with some catenary wires kind of grounding it. So, yeah, I mean, it's a much bigger concern here in Florida than it is in Starbase. But like Starbase, the amount of times I've seen a severe storm come through Starbase, at least from what I've been following, is like, I mean, this could be way off. Maybe I just wasn't paying attention. But like 5 times in the last like couple of years, like it's not often at all. Whereas here in Florida, in the summertime, it can quite literally be daily. So there's a big difference there.
We have a question here from Vinny asking methane or methane. Not sure what that question is for, but it's
You can say both. I say both. I don't care.
Mark is asking, would an infrared camera be an idea on these streams? Never say never. Knowing Das, he's probably played with one before, but you know, they're kind of lower resolution and they kind of tell us something we already know because we have the frost as a visual indication, and it gets frosty when it gets cold, and the infrared camera would tell us if it's cold. So
like, we've kind of banged on about this before, and like we've been poking DOS about this for a while too. But I can't remember which stream it was, but we talked about it before on a previous Starship stream of sorts. And DOS came on and said, "How many times do I have to say this? It doesn't really work that well with steel." And it's like, okay, that actually makes sense, but. Yeah, I could be way off on that. I don't know. My knowledge of infrared cameras is like not very much. But my general understanding is they don't necessarily work well with materials like stainless in this application. I don't know. I know DOS has said before though, like it wouldn't be the most ideal application to use it here.
And
yeah, I mean, if we can
visual indicators.
Go on, Ryan.
Yeah.
But see, you already had the visual indicators of the frost anyway. So what's the
Yeah. I mean, I would personally, my personal opinion is I would take a super zoom visual camera over a not super zoom infrared camera.
100%. 100%.
We're probably getting close to depress vent here.
Yeah, that frost line is continuing to decrease, and as Ryan, as you were saying earlier, that frost line doesn't mean that there's a really weird shape of fuel in the tank right now. That frost line takes much longer to go away because it literally has to be melted by the sun. It doesn't just, it's
You
not
can even see
vapor,
it melting
it's not
and
water.
falling.
Yeah, like we're literally seeing droplets fall down the tank as I speak. When the tank gets cold, all of the water that's in the air is
Well, as
frozen
I
onto the
say
booster.
that,
Are we
as
getting
I
an event?
say- Yeah, it looks like the methane drain is on, so that would mean methane should be nearly fully detanked from the vehicle. Next up will be LOX being fully detanked from the vehicle, and then you get the depress vent, full on depress. So, getting close.
We have gotten some support in the last couple minutes, so I should hit that. Arciega, sorry if I said that wrong, but they are asking, do you think they would ever make a Falcon 9 size rocket, but use Raptor 3s?
No.
That's a great question.
Yeet.
I'm sorry to laugh at that, and that wasn't because it was a dumb question. It's just it's an incredibly fun mental exercise, because realistically, to substitute the thrust for, so you have 9 Merlin 1Ds on the base of a Falcon 9. To substitute the thrust from that, you need like what, 2 or 3 Raptor 3s?
The
Something
Merlin
of the sort?
1D is what, 800 some odd kilonewtons? Sea level?
I'd have to look back. I'd have to look it up again, but
Stand by. I have it.
do you? Okay.
I have the thrust.
The Merlin 1D is 845 kilonewtons
Close.
at sea level.
Yep.
That's close.
And how much is Raptor 3?
The Raptor 3 is
2.5
2
meganewtons.
2.75 meganewtons, which is a
So you
little
need
bit
like,
more than 800 kilonewtons.
so you would need like 2 or 3 to thoroughly substitute the thrust of 9 Merlin 1Ds. And honestly,
Yeah.
Raptor 3 isn't even that much bigger than Merlin. So you could probably squeeze like 5 or 6 in the same size
4.
thrust block if you wanted to. What?
Put 4 on. 4 Raptor 3s on the aft end of a Falcon 9.
So
I mean,
like,
at that point, you're basically making like a super Firefly Alpha with 4
I was just
engines.
gonna say that.
No,
I was just gonna say that.
You're making basically what you're doing, and it's kind of hilarious to be honest. You're making something along the lines of let's see, wait, how much is that in millions of pounds of thrust? Now that I think about it, let me do that.
Falcon 9
I don't know.
is
I didn't know that
1.3
thrust was so
million pounds,
expensive.
I think somewhere in there. 1.3.
Wow, Ryan, wow.
Or should I
Right.
say cheap? Well, 1.3 million pounds for that much thrust. I mean, that's
Wow.
a deal.
Wow. Huh.
So you're looking at 2 million. That would be 2 million pounds of thrust. So that'd be about 300 million more than what the current Soyuz 5 is, because the current Soyuz 5 uses a little bit more than that. Current Soyuz 5 uses an upgraded RD-170, or it's like a 171 basically, which is like 1.8 million pounds of thrust for a single engine. So you put 4 R3s together, and it would be more than that. So you have a single stick rocket with 2 million pounds of thrust below it.
That's amazing.
Oh my goodness.
That's amazing. That's what is Falcon Heavy again? Is it like? Oh goodness.
It's Falcon 9 times 3.
Right. Well, go ahead.
The entire chat just turned into gifted subs. That's why I went ho.
Oh.
We will take that in a second, but please do continue. If you had anything else to say.
No, it'd be kind of nuts to have a single stick with 4 Raptor 3s on it as a as a single stick rocket. That'd be fun though. Yeet is what that would be.
Yeah.
Thrust to weight ratio of like 3 to 1.
Yeah. I will just say, if you are interested in a methane Falcon 9, then do I have for you? It's not exactly Raptor 3 engine level, but we're looking at the second flight of the GJ3 in a few weeks here. It could be around the corner, so keep an eye out, because that is a stainless steel, methane powered Falcon 9 size vehicle. It's very interesting, very exciting rocket that a lot of people are interested in.
Also, Terran R coming online at some point too.
Yep.
Yes, of course, with its 13 engines.
Yeah.
And
that's
also
very
Neutron.
Interesting.
Hopefully in the
And
next
Neutron.
Oh,
show. Yep.
And Neutron. Yeah. A lot of methane rockets coming on. It's all the rage.
And Nova, because Nova uses methane on the first stage.
Mm-hmm.
And for that
Sucked
matter,
out
New
that.
Glenn is launching this weekend.
Yeah, there you go.
No shortage of methane-powered rockets.
Mind
Some as soon
blown.
as... Yeah, so much stuff is coming online. We have John Marquez informing us that those infrared cameras are used for thermal imaging. There is a company called Teledyne, and they use them in air and space. Thank you for your support. And once again, following on from yesterday's stream, Jamie Higginbotham, the Photon Empress, has gifted 50 Red Team memberships.
Jamie.
That is so much
Goodness.
support. 50 more people now get access to the NSF membership behind the scenes, completely free of charge for an entire month. And Max, as I'm sure you'll be able to talk to, there is so much behind the scenes photos that have been posted in there from Artemis, flyovers, so much stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff in there, and that's like we give the members as much as we possibly can, like BTS stuff, raw stuff off the phone, just anything, because people love it. They eat it up, and it's just awesome. And we could not be more thankful for it, because like to us, like some of what we do is as awesome as it is, like our flyovers, dude. Like getting in a helicopter to go photograph Roberts Road and go check out Blue's facilities and the stuff over at Kennedy. It's like, to most people, I mean, it still is to us, but like we've done it a lot now, and we've been in a spot to where we've been lucky enough to do it a lot now, and mostly monthly. And most people like hardly ever do that, maybe like once or twice, and we do it as often as we possibly can. And to us, it's like, okay, yeah, let's go fly. And to other people, that's a massive occasion, and they want to get every bit of content from it. And we're just like, whoa, okay. It kind of catches us off guard, because we become, we're spoiled. We become jaded because we do so much cool stuff around here. But again, that would not be possible without you guys, and especially our members. And we give them as much as we possibly can, because y'all deserve it completely. That was worded probably very poorly, because I don't know how, I'm very bad.
But I agree with everything you said, nonetheless.
I'm awful at plugging stuff like that. Admittedly, I am. Like I fully admit it. But like it's an enormous privilege.
As that frost continues to recede from the methane tank, we can see there on the right-hand side. Eric Robertson is asking, how long does it take SpaceX to replenish its liquid oxygen and liquid methane supplies? Ryan, I assume they're asking how long it would take them to restock the tank farm, considering that they would have used a considerable amount of prop to fill up this booster.
They've been using a considerable amount of prop over the last 5 days. Whether it's LN2 to sub-chill and chill things down, whether it's methane to chill things down, whether it's LOX to chill things down, or load. It'll take a bit to fully fill the tank farm back up. A lot of times around flights, what they'll do is they'll have a bunch of tankers on order to be able to come in case of an abort and need a recycle for 24 hours. But as of this, they'll probably refill this over the course of like a week or two. They'll take their time to refill it, because they're not like going to need it right away. The next time they need a full tank farm is a wet dress rehearsal later on. But yeah, I mean, it'll take a little bit. They got to bring tankers in. There's a reason why they're setting up methane liquefaction in the expansion areas, and they're building the air separation unit. The air separation unit will basically pull air from the atmosphere, split it up, purify it, and turn it into liquid oxygen and liquid nitrogen, which they can dump into the tank farm. And then the methane liquefaction is they just got to route a natural gas line to Starbase into the launch site, and then liquefy it at the launch site, and then they can dump that into the main tanks. So they're going to be basically doing both things later on the line. We're still like a year or more away from any of that. At least the ASU is probably at least a year away. And the methane liquefaction is probably even longer away than that, because they haven't even started building those plants yet. And they also got to move the entire methane tank farm from where it is to a different location to kind of help facilitate that and keep it away from the trench exit over at Pad 1. But eventually, they'll be able to more or less make all their own prop on site, but they'll still have to tank stuff in if they want to keep up a decent launch cadence, because that ASU can do, it's about 900 tons of liquid oxygen a day. And they booster alone takes over 3,000. So it'll take a bit to even get a full stack. So
we have Bobby becoming a Red Team member. Thank you for that. And Shurin, sorry if I pronounced that wrong, but they are asking, how do you think McGregor activity will change once Booster is reused consistently? Max, do you think we'll see an increase in testing, a reduction in testing? What do you think?
That's a really good question. I mean, at some point, well, considering how often they want Starship to fly and how many different launch sites Starship is going to have the next 5 to 10 years, there's always going to be a constant need for Raptor 3 or Raptor 4 or Raptor 5 supply down the line, whatever they end up getting to. There's always going to be a demand for Raptor engines. And so the new ones need to be test fired. The flight proven ones will have to go through, I'm sure, what is the word I'm thinking of? Flight proven units will have to be recertified after X amount of flights, just like they do on Merlin, I'm sure. Like there will always be a need for an engine testing facility, and they do more than just engine testing for Merlin and Raptor there. There's that big old tent that we still have no idea what they're doing inside of there. And also we've seen more recently what looks like a booster LOX landing tank. Transfer tube testing tank in the same area at McGregor as well for further testing. So it's used for more than just engines, and I'm sure that they will use the site for a lot more than that going forward, depending on what needs the program has in various areas. But there's always going to be a demand for Raptor testing, especially going forward. And with Falcon 9 being phased out eventually, they won't need to test Merlin anymore. So they might repurpose that space for more Raptor stuff. Because they're always trying to squeeze that much more performance out of Raptor. I think currently Raptor 3s produce about 260 tons of thrust. The current target is, I want to say, 280 hopefully soon, and then Elon really wants 300 tons of thrust. So which is a freaking lot. And the teams working on Raptor are already pulling a whole bunch of witchcraft to get Merlin to get Raptor to do what it does now. Raptor is a masterpiece in engineering, and that will never change as long as it stays the way it is or it gets even crazier. There will always be a need for their test sites there. I think at least for the next 10 years or so, at least.
I mean, the current version of Raptor is so skimmed down that other aerospace executives called it an unfinished engine. So I struggle to believe how much slimmer they could get a Raptor 4, but
I know.
You know. We do have another replay to show you all. Now, during the loading, I believe, of the booster a couple of hours ago, but 1.5 hours ago now, there was some grid fin testing. Now, it's difficult to see, but we've zoomed in and we're going to try and see SpaceX wiggle the grid fins. They did this when we were distracted by the frost, so we didn't show it live, but you can just see there, ever so slightly through the heat haze, a little deflection from the grid fins as they were fueling the booster.
We were staring at the frost. We were so enamored by how quickly they were loading.
Wow.
That we
Yeah.
saw missed the grid fins little dip.
Wait, Ron, how'd it go?
Yeah, it was like 3:47 or so. 3:47 I think is when it happened.
I don't think we're getting the sound effect again.
Bloop. Pat?
There we go.
What?
Yes.
There
that
we go. Back to the live pictures as the frost line pretty much nearly entirely gone on that methane tank. Still a little bit on the oxygen tank. Let's see here. Akalor, Acelor, thank you for your support. Strap 2 Raptor Falcon 9s to Super Heavy. I'm not sure if Super Heavy needs any more thrust, but it's certainly an idea if SpaceX wants to add some strap-on boosters. Yeah, certainly an idea.
It's super duper heavy with 3 super heavy boosters strapped together.
Yeah, I mean, they could
90
literally call it the Super Duper Heavy.
99 Raptor engines, let's go.
I don't even know the launch mount required to take such a thing.
It would move the
trench.
Yeah, a tri-core Super Heavy wouldn't put itself into space. It would push the Earth further away from it.
like literally, like if they got to your 300-ton theoretical thrust, your tri-core Super Heavy would be 30,000 metric tons of thrust. You'd probably crack the Earth's crust if you tried to do something like that.
It's like the classic joke of like Chuck Norris, rest in peace. He doesn't do push-ups; he does earth downs. It's like that.
Ah, dear. Metro 498 is asking, any word of when a full stack is happening? Ryan, what do you think? When, considering all the testing, and there's no rollback closure, so there could be more to come, when do you think we'll first see a V3 Starship on a V3 Super Heavy booster?
3 weeks, I think. It'll take a little bit to finish both vehicles, and then I really think before they roll the booster back out to the pad, I think SpaceX is going to want to get some data from 18.3 over at Massey's. That test tank is testing the hot stage truss for loading. It is testing the grid fin sockets for aerodynamic loads, and it is also testing the loading of the landing tank on the tank walls. To make sure it doesn't buckle it, which is kind of important test that you kind of want to know your booster is good to go before you fly it in that kind of case. And considering how much testing they've done for Block 3 so far, I'd be utterly shocked if they flew without testing that thing even slightly. They're in the process of hooking that thing up to the Super Crusher. I think there's like 40 some odd actuators that got to hook up to that thing, and then they're going to basically torture the test tank, or more or less. So we'll see when the first test of that is, and I think that'll drive when they roll these out for a full stack, and that'll also drive when they're ready for flight. But hopefully like 3 weeks. I'm hoping it doesn't take too long to test that thing.
I just realised from this shot as well how much different the BQD hood color is to the actual bit by the booster QD is to the rest of the structure enclosing its plumbing. I mean, it's
different steel.
Yeah, it's crazy how different it looks after it's only been there for a few months at this point.
So everything you see there that is not painted, that just looks like steel, that's all stainless. All of that is stainless steel. Anything that's painted is likely carbon steel, basically. So it doesn't have that kind of coating that like stainless steel does. So instead of the coating, it's painted. And that's that's basically the two kind of steels they use for this. It's either like standard like kind of carbon steel, or it's stainless. Almost the entire interior of the trench is stainless steel. There's some stuff on the mount itself that's not, but like the deflectors, the covers for it, the trench walls, even the plates that go up the trench exits, that go up the ramps, those are all stainless steel. So there's no exposed concrete at all. It's just covered in steel. So you just ablate the steel, and you can just fix the steel as you go, or replace plates on the ramps and whatnot. You don't have to go around trying to fix concrete. SpaceX learned that the hard way with the old pad. They had exposed concrete on the tower side, and they have since covered that up with stainless steel, or at least just steel in general. They cut it up with cladding. And then, of course, to get away from that, they use speed cores for the trench walls as well as the tower base. Speed cores basically a steel and concrete sandwich. You take 2 plates of steel with like bars that hook it together. You weld it all together, and then you fill it with concrete. That's what a speed core is. So it's basically the trench walls and whatnot.
I don't know why they call
like-
it stainless steel, because it looks pretty stained to me.
The borderline looks like wood.
So what's funny is it's kind of near one of the angle. Do you see that like cleaner patch down there?
Like
Bottom right
if
side?
you-
Yeah, bottom right. You see a little cleaner
if you
patch?
go above the between successful and 33 in the ticker, just above there.
No, that's a door.
It's
it's like right
above the word
behind.
fire in yesterday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, there.
there's-
Okay, I see.
So
I see.
there's a stainless steel cleaner. I forget what the name of it is, but it looks like they did some tests on cleaning it, and there's a chance that when this booster is gone, they're going to do that to the entire launch mount. So they're going to clean it,
Shiny.
basically. Yeah, try to make it shiny.
Make it look nice for the pictures.
I think it's Pharmacaid or something along those lines. Yeah, that's what Jake said. Is what it is. So yeah, I think they're gonna clean the entire pad with that. They might roller it on and then let it sit for like a while and clean it. So we might get a nice shiny pad. There was when we first saw them doing that, it was kind of a joke that was going around. Yeah, that's what the interior of the it's from Ring, by the way. That's what the interior of one of the trench walls looks like. And then they just fill it with concrete. And then there's one of them is the leg of the launch mount. So it's a leg of a launch mount plus some of the trench wall itself.
Yeah, that thing you see with like the dots, like the 4 dots and in the middle, and then the 16 dots around. That's like where they put the launch mount, and then they fill in the big gap with the tubes. They fill that in with concrete.
Yeah, so we might get a shiny launch service structure and whatnot once they're done with 19 here. And SpaceX is probably wanting to make it nice and clean before they launch Flight 12. Why not, right? Why not clean it up, make it look nicer? Just for at least one flight.
SpaceX wants the pretty pictures. That's why they put the Gateway to Mars sign up. I mean, I would be willing to bet money that sign is gone by the next flight, because they've done the exact same thing before. They put it up for one flight, took the pretty pictures, and then took it down because they were remodeling the launch site.
I mean, there isn't much remodeling to do on this part of the site though anymore. So it's like
I would say that's permanent, or as permanent as things at Starbase can be. I'll put it that way.
Yeah. That was actually part of the reason for them taking down that sign was they had to start clearing way to build Pad 2. Now, of course, Pad 2 is now currently, as you see it, with Booster 19 sitting on top of the launch mount over there. Yeah, I think that sign is going to be around for a bit now. I don't want to say permanent because nothing's permanent at Starbase, but I think that sign will be sticking around for a while.
We'll see how it survives a launch.
Yeah. Yeah.
That static fire was one thing, but a launch, we'll see.
Once that exhaust leaves the launch mount and is just pounding the ground, then we'll see how it
goes. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe one of the letters just gets blown straight off the side.
God. Yeah.
Ace Law saying, I want to see a super duper heavy capable launch pad, and I think in response to that, Steven said, you would need a gorge, not a trench. And that is true. You would need something considerable to handle a tri-core super heavy booster. Mr. Magic Pants is asking, how thick is the ice layer? How much weight does it add? Do we know? I wouldn't imagine it being any more than like half an inch or a couple centimeters or something.
I mean, I honestly don't know. I mean, obviously it's not sufficient enough to cause issue, and a lot of it either melts or breaks away at liftoff anyway, and it can't stick on once the aero loads on the vehicle increase because the wind the air just blows it off. So either way, even if it was a big factor in the thrust to weight equation, at least at liftoff, it won't be sticking around for a while.
Waiting for this depress here.
Yeah,
You're
me
close.
too.
I'm getting hungry.
Yeah, I mean, we're sitting here waiting for the booster to detank. I mean, maybe it's just because they filled it up so quickly, but it feels like it's taking them longer to detank today than it did yesterday.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Right.
They want to make it a blah, 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 blah.
Blah, blah, blah.
Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
I'm sure because this is the first time they've filled both methane and LOX tanks fully on the launch site or at the launch site with real propellant. They want to make sure that it is detanked as thoroughly as possible, and then it's also good data in the event that they have to abort after a launch attempt. So, I don't know, but yeah, I figured we would see depress by now, but I could be wrong.
And don't rule out another top deck test for the deluge system because Ryan, we've already seen that once in this testing regime cycle.
Yeah, I wouldn't rule it out. They have just activated it in the past, but you never know. We'll see. Maybe we'll get lucky.
Maybe we'll be jump scared yet again because it kind of just pops out of the top deck and then makes a huge water fountain display, and there isn't that much warning. But we will keep the cameras looking at the launch mount. Either way. H Fork is asking, what are the chances they paint the booster like the renders? I'm going to be sad if they don't bother. I mean, I just want to say, yeah, I think it's pretty. I would love it if they painted it. But in the past, Max, the most they've done is a sticker with the ship serial number and called it a day. Sometimes they roll the ship out, get on the lift, it starts raining, and then they don't bother with the decal anyways.
37.
Yeah. I mean, that's just a ship, right? I mean, from the first renders. Oh, here we go, depress.
There's depress.
Big vent.
That was the quickest I've ever seen this camera just suddenly shift. That was amazing.
I think that was probably a preset set by Pizza there.
It's like boom, suddenly depress vents. That was awesome. That's incredible.
I want to see a booster number. I want to see a booster decal.
So in the first renders that we saw of version 3, the very bottom of the booster, like right above the engine section, was painted black, and it had like sort of pseudo black paint going up the sides of it, kind of for a little bit. That would look incredible. I think that's just me being subjective. I hope they end up painting it. I thought they would have by now, because there is a lot on the aft end of the booster that I'm concerned about not being there, or being there for liftoff, because it seems like it'd be kind of in the way. I'm seeing some renders of it now in the back channel. It looks freaking awesome. Yeah, I hope they do. I also hope that they paint ship with the number and some sort of like cartoon like they have before. But granted, those were for special occasions. But maybe they'll surprise us. I don't know. I wouldn't rule it out, to be honest.
They have a patch of paint on this, and through all of its testing and construction, it's already partially decaying. It's chipping and whatnot, and brushed off. They might paint the whole thing. They might not. If not, they might do it on later boosters. But my guess is they're doing patches to see how it handles and what like the rest of the booster looks like on cameras during ascent and reentry to see how well everything holds up. But to be honest, considering the shock of the booster on the back coming back, I'm not really that worried about all those conduits and everything like that. They're pretty tough, and junction boxes basically is what they are. All that ice still falling off.
Yeah, I was literally about to say, like, the depress vent is continuing, and that ice is continuing to drip away from the methane tank there. This vent, of course, basically in the middle of the booster, at the top of as it stops. In 3 hours, they have chilled down the tank farm, loaded the booster, almost all the way up, then detanked it all and depressed it.
almost exactly 3 hours, because it was 2:28 p.m. that we saw the methane reclaim vent start.
That is amazing.
That's a lot of propellant to go into the booster and then out of the booster, and chill the whole thing down before they even load it in 3 hours.
And mind you, we're go ahead. Sorry.
In that time, it would have taken them to chill down and load the entire stack for a launch of Block 1.
Yeah.
I just want to say, hang on, I'm doing this in my head. This is dangerous, but I'm doing this. Okay, so 9 minus 5 is 4. Actually, give me a second. I'm going to do this properly. We could just watch the venting for a second, because I want to say something, and I'm going to fill time because I need to do a calculation. And that calculation is 9 hours and 55 minutes minus 5 hours and 10 minutes. Okay, so for the Space Launch System, between core stage liquid hydrogen slow fill start to all stages being in replenish is 4 hours and 45 minutes. In 2/3 of that time, SpaceX has fully tanked and fully detanked a super heavy booster.
From start with no chilled down tank farm.
From nothing.
And mind you, we are talking about somewhere in the realm of 3,500 tons of propellant here.
And
just on the booster.
And if you add ship onto that, the timing's going to be the same. It's just they got to do it with the tower along with the mount. So basically, full stack. They can chill down, load, and detank a full stack faster than SLS can even just load.
Yeah. It actually might be closer to 4,000 tons, because I think a full version 3 stack with ship and booster, fully topped off, is around 5,500 tons. So it might be closer to 4,000 tons of propellant in that time, which is bonkers. I don't know if there's a better word for it than that.
It's how long does do we know how long it takes them to tank New Glenn?
Like 3 or so hours, I want to say. Maybe closer to 2. I'm not sure.
And the beach closure for today is removed with the beach open. So
the beach might be open, but no one can get there right now because the road remains shut.
And also at this time, there's currently no schedule posted for tomorrow, but there's still no rollback delays either.
Nope.
So, big old question mark.
We will have to see if the transport stand rolls up to the mount to take the booster off here maybe tonight or tomorrow morning or something.
But I mean, right now that's our only indicator. If the transport stand stays where it is, then don't rule out another day of testing, because
if we get no rollback closures, then we'll have to wait to see what else happens with the booster, or if it's just gonna stay out there for another day or so. But it has to go back. There's stuff that they still have to do. They can't. The stuff they need to do to the booster, they cannot do it on the pad. It has to come off the pad, and they can't really even do that inside the transport stand either. So it has to go back one way or the other. So we'll see what happens. And there should be
there's plenty of people who want to get access to the pad right now. 3 cars have just joined the queue in the last 10 seconds.
A sheriff's getting in the truck. Maybe.
Here we go. Open the door. Climbing in.
Open the door.
Closing the door.
There they go. I think this is. I think they're about to open it up here. They're all getting in their trucks.
Stick it in reverse. Nope. We're going to go forward instead. Off we go. Well, one of them's leaving. Oh, both of them are leaving. And we... which way are you going to go? Left or right? Left or right? They're going right. Looks like SpaceX vehicles rolling down Highway 4.
Yep, that's open.
And off they go.
Very nice.
I got a motorcycle.
Got a motorcycle escort as well, for good measure.
And you know what? There's also no booster transport stand in the way either.
Yeah. Not this time.
Not this time.
There's so many cars. There's so many cars. They've got a whole entourage heading to the pad.
And a bunch of tankers ready to start filling it back up there.
Look,
Got
yeah,
like
like
one, two, three, four.
Yeah, at least four tankers. Yeah.
Look how many cars were parked up LBJ Boulevard.
Oh man, it's a lot of people going back.
They've got half the workforce heading to the launch pad right now.
Get back to work.
Get on the right side of the road, man. What are you doing? There you go. Make a gap.
Wonder how far back does this go?
This must go all the way back to Brownsville.
I wouldn't be surprised. Back when they had that border patrol checkpoint still there on Highway 4, after every single shift would
Sorry, has that
end.
truck broken down? It's got his hazard lights on, and everyone's driving around him.
Maybe he got out and he walked somewhere.
Or he parked on the side and conked out, waiting for the booster to finish.
Jesus.
I mean, why not?
What are they doing?
What are you gonna do?
Are they trying to turn down LBJ Boulevard or something? Yeah, they're turning left.
Yeah,
Or are they doing a U-turn?
I don't know what they're doing. Something.
Here we go. First Cybertruck returning to the pad.
Nice. Just Hopper there chilling in the background.
There's the I think that's the knocked down. They did knock down a sign.
Yes, it did. Yeah, left-hand side of your screen there from the static fire yesterday.
Yeah, they
Rip
knocked
sign.
down. It was like a no parking sign or something like that. They knocked down.
Well, I guess
An
we can park there now then. SpaceX was like, I'm parking here.
Sir, you can't park there.
Hey, the sign's not there anymore. It's like,
Oh,
I'm
it is.
just-
It's just playing. How low can you go?
I'm not.
there
Not
he
to.
goes.
Oh, finally.
Nice.
Traffic is resuming. There were those 3 trucks are like blocking the entire road. But it's now opening up. I think. I thought it was opening up.
hey, maybe he's just moving out of the way. I don't know what they're doing here.
Well, one of them did a U-turn. Are they all doing U-turns?
I don't know.
One of them's
Maybe
pulled
the-
over and
maybe
got the
some of
hazards
those
on. One of them's
tankers-
done a U-turn, and the other one's driven off screen. Yeah, they're doing U-turns.
What's going on here? I don't know what they're doing.
Have they been waiting there so long that the propellant has like boiled off or something? They're just going to go home? Like, that seems a lot of time to just sit in a traffic jam to then not refill the tank farm.
I don't
Okay.
know. Who knows at this point?
Maybe they're going to Massey's instead. Who knows?
Maybe they're just not ready to receive tankers at the offload point yet. I don't know.
Either way, road's open.
Indeed. Oh, there we go. Driver is back in the truck. Let's see where he goes. I'm fully invested in this now. We are staying there until we find
have
out
to
where
find
that
out.
truck goes. We need to know where the truck goes. Is it going to the launch pad? Is it going to do a U-turn?
Ryan, where's the tanker?
Where's the truck? We need to know.
There it is.
There it is.
Where are you going, mister? Are you
Hey.
going to the pad?
Is he going straight?
I think he's
Right
going to
here.
the pad.
Yeah. He's continuing eastbound on Highway 4.
Here he goes. Hazard's still running, though. Someone told me he's left his hazard lights on.
That's fine.
And it's fine. It'll be fine.
It'll be fine. It's not like
Texas-
it hurts anyone to leave your
This is a
hazard
whole
on.
different version of Texas tank watching right here. Texas tanker watching.
Yeah.
It's still a tank. It still counts.
It is?
Yeah.
And we're just going to give the camera operators some more tracking practice.
I think that's my thing.
Might be.
Yeah, that's my thing.
Prometheus Energy getting some free promotion here. Not affiliated. Not sponsored.
pointing-
Unless.
Jay pointing out the back channel, we are so easily amused. Yeah. I mean, we are. That doesn't take much to please us. Like, we see
Pizza
this and we're
doesn't
like,
need
ooh,
tracking
ah.
practice.
No, he does not.
He doesn't.
He's a god.
We've
He can track anything.
been live streaming so much tanking on all of the streams this week that we will literally take anything for amusement.
We're gonna wait for the tanker to make it to CP11, and then we're gonna do something fun, and then I think we can call it there.
What's this?
Yeah, I want to see the tanker drive past the launch site. Taking his time.
I mean, Highway 4. It's a longer distance from the Star Factory to the pad than you think.
Yeah, it's a couple miles, and a bit miles.
Crispy, stay alive. Back to stay alive till he offloads and track him back to the depot in Austin.
Yes,
if it was the tanker with the space shuttle on the tank, I'd be down. Honestly. Texas tanker watching.
There's another tanker on the way.
The heck? How did he? What?
Did he just do a U-turn and come straight? Well, we've just had a tanker eclipse, ladies and gentlemen. I think that tanker went to the loading site. They said no, thank you, and he's just gone round the roundabout and come back up Highway 4. But we are invested in this tanker now, and we are going to follow it and see where it goes. I'm going to dedicate the rest of this live stream to this tanker because we've gone this far. We might as well go all the way. Here it comes, down Highway 4. Here comes the tanker.
It's going kind of slow.
It could go a little bit faster. Passing by.
That's what I wanted to do.
But here comes Sebastian Tanker.
Last of the late breakers.
Cybertruck's had enough.
Last of the late tankers, maybe.
See, now I'm really interested if he's going to do a U-turn and come back.
I don't know.
Someone's already out there for time. There you go.
Main road is open. Out you go. Passing by Hopper now. I think we might have lost the tanker. I don't know if we have any more cameras that can see the tanker.
Yeah, she's gone. And it's gone.
Let's wait and see. It will be like 5 minutes or less if they have to turn around and come back. Oh, we've got the tanker back!
Oh my god, we have it!
There it is!
Where's the tanker?
Here she comes, down Highway 4. Passing the tank farm. Let's see, will the tanker turn around? Or will it fill up? Chat, we're invested in this. I hope you're invested as well.
You look at the size of that tanker, and you know what the size of a cab is, and you just see the size of the motors on those pumps.
Yeah. And just the recondensers themselves too.
I mean, even the normal tanker truck compared to the Starbase tank farm tanks. I mean, it's huge by comparison.
Yeah, for those of you who haven't been who have had the privilege to actually go to Starbase in person and appreciate all of this beautiful hardware up close and personal, it is a lot bigger than you think it is. Like, you think it looks big here on stream, it is even bigger when you're standing next to it. I promise you.
The tanker is slowing down and pulling over. I report it is being overtaken on Highway 4. It is passing by the loading station. Let's see.
If it's methane, it should turn into, I think at this point it's D3. So
and it stopped.
It should turn into that, and then there's a back-end point for the new methane offload spot. So I don't know if
the tanker has paused. Where will it go?
We're doing this? Yeah, we're doing this.
We're doing it. I mean, as soon as this thing passed the highway cameras, we were fully invested at this point. We're going all the way. I want to know where this tanker goes.
Starbase, you silly goose.
Oh, so that the photographer there, I think it was Starship Gazer.
I think it was. Yeah, I thought it looked familiar.
He's just stopped.
He's waiting his turn.
There's no one else there. He's the first one there. Everyone else either turned around at the roadblock or turned around at the roundabout. You know, this was really exciting when they were driving down the road. It's not that exciting anymore.
No.
The suspense has kind of gotten lost in the moment. There's a bird.
Do we end it, or do we just
I'm staying with this. I'll be here for the rest of the night watching this tanker.
I can't stick around forever, y'all. What's the poll?
I think we're working on a poll in chat right now for
I think there is a poll in
offload
chat right now.
or turn around without offload. We need to know what chat thinks. I mean, surely he can't park there forever. He's going to have to do something soon. He's going to have to either reverse up or turn around and go home.
You say that. Now he's going to stay there for hours.
Where is the tanker truck going to go? Emerald Potion has it. We are Texas tanker watching. That is exactly what we are doing right now. I agree, James. The suspense is killing me as well. We're all invested, Jason. We're all invested.
Suspense is killing me. I want to get food. Wait, should we do it like the flame trench chat? What food should we get? Should we do it like flame trench?
I'm invested in the tanker. I don't care about food. I'm watching the tanker. I keep thinking it's moving, but it's the heat haze. Resistor Jet has it. We have committed to seeing this through now.
I got pizza, I got brisket.
Very tense. I'd say you could hear a pin drop, but with the venting at the tank farm, you can't. Oh, Gwen Ever has a great idea, Ryan.
Yeah, what?
I just put it on screen.
Grackle. Well, okay. Yeah.
Dr. Space Nerd, is this up on one of those betting sites yet?
Not yet.
My God.
Well, I don't want to give in, but it's not going anywhere. I'm gonna start outroing people, and then hopefully that, you know, the universe will do its thing, and then we'll see the tanker moving.
Just to say, we have a hashtag free Max going on in the back channel.
Are you serious? Yeah, oh yeah. I'm hungry,
Max,
y'all.
Max, we will free you to get food. Thank you for being on today's stream.
That was fun, everybody. Thank you very much for having me and coming to hang out today. Might see you again soon, depending on whether or not they roll Booster 19 back or if there's more testing to come. Want to be here for it regardless. But thank you very much, everybody, and we will see you all again soon.
Ryan Weber, thank you for also joining us for all of the commentary this week so far.
Yeah, 5 days in a row. It's been a lot of fun. You know, if for any reason they do anything more, maybe I'll be available. We'll see. But SpaceX is basically taking up my entire weekend with testing, or waiting for testing to start. It's been fun on that front. But either way, it's been a pleasure covering Starship, especially over this last week with everything that's gone on.
Thank you, as always, to all of the Starbase Live operators behind the scenes, especially those moving the cameras today, bringing you those robotic views. These are all the cameras you've seen today are driven remotely by people sometimes thousands of miles away from Starbase. So none of the views you saw today were from a human touching the camera. These were all remote cameras watching on from our 24/7 around-the-clock sites dotted around Starbase in Texas. So that's awesome to see, as always. Of course, thank you to Jay Keegan for producing today's stream, pressing all the buttons as we watch Starbase continue to test Booster 19, and more importantly, this tanker truck roll down Highway 4, which still hasn't moved. And it doesn't look like it is going to move, it brings me great sadness. Yeah, I think I've stretched this long enough. I've been Ryan Caton. We're going to send you over to Starbase Live 24/7, where you can watch the tanker truck all day, every day, however long you want to watch the tanker truck for. But for now, for this dedicated coverage, thank you very much for watching, and we will see you guys later, next time. All the words. Bye-bye.
And here we go.
There's the deluge. Here's ignition.
Traveling up.
Did it just do a Kerbal?
Back to the moon and beyond.
Put that in the big bag, Jingle.
Back at home, we all have a lot of work to do, but from here, it sure looks like a perfect world.
Propulsion continues to be normal.
We did have an observation.
343 unfolds to go.
It's orange.
Water towers can fly!
Bingo! Right in the center.
Where's Jacqueline? There it is!
That was surreal.
That's not what we want to see.
No!
Oh my god.
Yikes. You bet. We don't need any more of these.